Yep. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Late Frame Podcast. I'm your host, Holy Moses, and with me is the Bearded Beauty, my awesome co-host. And on his way is fucking Taco Bear. He managed to escape the community home, and he is on his way soon. But we want to welcome everybody. If you are fucking tuning in right now, this is awesome. To me, this is epic. A lot of mini truckers are going to be like, what the fuck? And we want to welcome Michael Salazar from Colorado Custom CC Cycle Wheel Company. Am I correct?
Hey, how we doing? How we doing?
Awesome.
You're correct mode than
Hey,
most
man.
others to get that
Dude.
far. Okay, so you're
Hell
good.
yeah.
A plus.
Okay. All right. Fucking, I thought I had it all fucked up.
You got it.
I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for to coming on. And dude, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what got you into the game of freaking doing wheels and just steering wheels and just billet stuff. Anything the aftermarket scene. Take us
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. So, well, as far as my history goes, I wasn't involved with the original Colorado Custom crew. We came on board at around 2010. That's when my parents pretty much bought Colorado Custom at the time.
Okay.
And at that point, it was still just something new to us. It was a new entity altogether. It was a machine shop. We were doing primarily motorcycle components as classic and custom rides, right? And then afterwards, if we fast forward to 2015, that's where my mother and I pretty much took the reins for Colorado Custom. And we, pretty much ran at that point, had no machines, started with one machine to, slowly acquired what we needed to do, but we had all the intellectual property at that point. And, so we still offer, the retro designs for Colorado Custom. As far as the steering wheels, we also do some motorcycle components also, for like the wheels, the rotors, the pulleys. Yeah. But right now, I think the newest thing right now is just the niche markets that we have, like for the Cadillacs, for the Lincolns, more for like the classic cars. So, that's current at the moment. And, we do private label machining for other companies. I can't disclose, I'm not supposed to, but, we do a lot of private label, and for the most part, it's people just looking for something different. They say, hey, I'm looking for this and nobody offers it. What can you do? And it's really hard for us to say no.
Oh, so pretty much you guys, when you guys took over, or sounds horrible, but like when you guys acquired it and you guys started doing it, you guys slowly were just, all right, we'll do some private stuff, and then just slowly kind of branched off when you had more and more people asking you, hey man, can you make me a wheel? Can you do me?
Exactly. Yeah. So, we branched off and, we're doing more custom, just like in the name, Colorado Custom. And it's just, we just have to make sure everything's feasible and are able to finish it within, that allotted time we can get,
Oh, dude, what I'm surprised is like when with the wheels that you guys do, and I remember when I messaged you and I was like, man, it sucks they don't come in a 6-lug, and you're like, oh, we can make them, and that's just kind of hard to hear a lot because you don't hear that a lot in the industry of like wheels. Like if you got the money, yeah, anybody can make you a wheel, but like where you can say, hey, we do have this set, and you can get it in a 6 slug, or you can get this design already pre-cut, you know, and we do have them for this lug, you know. That's a lot, because you hear everybody that has a 6 slug wheel vehicle, and they're always like, oh, well, fucking just 5 lug it. What up, Chris? What up, bam? But for us, for me, it's like, well, if you can sit there and be like, hey, man, we'll make you a 6. I'm like, all right, why not? You know, then that makes me more want to keep a 6 slug. So if you are a 6 slug guy out there, you know, this is the guy to go to, you know, hit them up, you know, hit them up at their website, coloradocustoms.com, and you can, you know, get in touch with him and somebody at the shop and maybe get a wheel or steering wheel done, you know. With the steering wheels, I know before the show, me and Chris were wondering about the defected ones. So the defected ones are like if somebody goes, hey man, you know, I need a wheel that'll fit a Mazda, which is pretty much like a Ford style, with the center and the center hole and then the hole that's like right up above it. And we go and someone would be like, hey, do you have that, or what kind of spacing or what kind of adapter would I need? You know, is there problems when it comes to making a custom steering wheel when it comes to a customer and the vehicle, or is it something where you're like, all right, send us a diameter and we got you?
I think the most difficult component is just finding the hub adapter for the vehicle. So the ones that we offer are GM based, and that's, you know, pretty easy. You know, 67 through 94, that's our main hub. We have for years under. Yeah. So for example, we don't make a Ford hub, but at that point we can just outsource it, go ahead and get a hold of it. That way, okay, we have what we need. Now you can use our steering wheel.
What up, Wes?
Right. So that's the main thing. We have to start with the hub adapter first, because we're not going to sell you a steering wheel and you can't use it. Like, you know, figure it out.
So pretty much if I were to go, hey, this is what I have, send you a picture of what I'm using and go, hey, is there any way you can make something that'll
Hi, Topher.
You know. So
exactly. We make it custom. I'd say, hey, you know, just show me what you're looking for, or give us a sketch XYZ, and we can kind of, you know, take the ball from there.
All right, that's cool, because I know, like, when we were asking you about like the defective stuff, and you were saying
I've got
are for mock-ups only.
I got two right here in my brain right now.
He's already probably going to be looking at the website and be like, oh, this looks nice.
There you go. Just sketch it. Sketch it while it's fresh.
Yeah.
There we go.
These are going to be one-off steering wheels.
One-off. There we go. Look at that. Yeah.
There you go. We can private label for you, right? You have all intellectual property. We just make them. You sell them. Okay.
Damn.
Easy.
All right. You got it. There we go.
They're literally one run. That's it.
There we go. Look at that, guys. You're hearing it first.
Whatever
edition.
Whatever I give him just gets destroyed, because the steering wheels are never going to go.
There we go, guys. Look at that. You heard this first. This might happen. Look at that. We're already talking to him, and this guy's already halfway there.
He's excited.
Already going.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how we cater everything. You know, it's all about excitement. It's all about having fun, and you know, it's about, you know, having people's passion and being able to accommodate. You know, that's what makes it fun and exciting for us. You know, we always are able to collaborate and, you know, work something out, and you know, it's just we're just a vessel at that point, you know, providing for you, the client, and you know, we try to achieve that vision.
That's great, because most most companies, you always get their other guy. You know, you never get the main person, or you never get that person, or unless you know the person, hey, you might get them every once in a while, but you always end up getting the vendor part guy of the aspect part of it. And I saw, like you said, these are in-house. These are made here in the States.
They're made in-house. They're here in Anaheim, California. That's where they're machined. Nothing's imported, nothing overseas. It's all domestic. It's all American. He's got
it's like a Chinese restaurant in the back of his fucking shit. It's like, you know, he's got everybody in-house with AC. So the workers are being treated okay.
Yeah, everyone's good. Everyone's being taken care of here, and we're all family. We're literally all family.
That's
it's me, my mom, my wife when she's available. She's taking care of our 1-year-old crazy son right now. We love him, but it's still all new to us. and then we have my cousin in the back and her husband. It's literally a
So it's
family
really
operation.
just you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
Man.
It's literally a family business.
That is crazy that, that it's always like, to hear where it is a family run business, just like with a couple other people that we know in the game, like was it Chad Chris is all in house too when he does his manifold blocks.
There you go.
When you call him, he's like, hey, I'll answer the phone.
Yeah. You call the hotline for help. He's the one answering.
So it's like, it's good to hear that people can be like, hey, don't have to worry that, oh, well, it's China made. And you're like, no, it was made in the back. You'd be like, if not, give me a minute and I go yell at somebody in the house. It's like, so, but with the machining and everything you guys are doing with wheels, like the Lincolns, I saw that wheel, man, and that Cadillac wheel.
We offer a few. We offer a few designs, and we can switch it up with the different cap styles. We're working on floater caps right now. We're just finishing up the I think the second prototypes.
Okay.
I think they're gonna look really nice. We want to make sure it works before we release them. That's the main thing.
Okay. Is there anything specific when it comes to customizing like the wheel itself? I know that you got to always worry about the back spacing, and then how tall. Has there been any crazy offsets that you've done for people, or?
I mean, define crazy. You either have a really high backspace, where it's literally, the wheel is as close to the lip as possible, right? So you have no lip, or you have the smallest amount of backspace so that you can get the largest amount of lip. So it's not nothing complicated. We just need to go ahead and have a game plan ready so we can do accordingly. Ooh, the goods have arrived. Okay,
yes,
Wesley brought the goods.
Fucking Taco Bell.
There you go.
So hey Wes. So we're talking to Mike Salazar, and he was telling us that he can.
He's listening.
He can cut.
No, he's been listening.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I figured
we don't have to fill it in.
I've been listening.
There you go. He's tuned in. Okay, Wes has been tuned in this whole time. Okay.
Oh yeah, he always does.
But it's exciting, man, because like to bring you on, and then we can talk like the wheels that you're designing, and then to know that somebody can be like, hey, well, I was thinking about what designs you got and maybe do something different. And that when it comes to wheels, is it just a one set, or do you give somebody the chance to be like, hey, man, you can, if you guys keep that wheel in production in-house, or do you guys it's a one set only for the customer and that's it?
Especially for one-offs, right? Like we definitely want to go ahead and give the primary client, that exclusivity of, running it for the first time. And, that can be a matter of a few months, like a year, but we do like to offer it to the general public. It's just, there definitely is a higher price point for those custom designs, depending on how complex it is. Like we've only made one set of these, and I don't think I posted them, and I call them the graveyard because I think they took about 8 hours for one wheel.
What?
Right. So we literally have to run them after hours, during the graveyard shift. So in the morning, we'll go ahead and clean it, XYZ, do whatever we have to do for the rest of the day. And at the end of the day, we'll run another one. So there's only one of those. Only one exists, right? And if I was to sell another one, I don't even know what I'd charge. And it'd be like, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20,000, just because there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time there. I don't know.
So like with that, how you said that after hours, that wheel, the other wheels are those ones that are already, you have a quantity already made, or are those always made? Boom.
Everything's made to order. Right, have it your way. They're made fresh, right? So we don't stock too much inventory just because there's all these different sizes that we offer, and maybe that's on us. Maybe that's a bad thing, but we offer 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there would be a lot of sizes that we would just be inventorying, and they have different profiles. They're not all the same profile, so that makes it more difficult for us. I think we just make it more difficult.
All right, hell yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can I ask you a question? So what's the turnaround then time? Say somebody placed an order with you with a design you guys already have in place. What would be kind of a general turnaround?
A comfortable lead time is 12 to 16 weeks. I'd say that gives us enough time to, be very relaxed about it, get it in there, make sure there's no issues. Now,
treat the wheel nice.
Usually people are in a crunch, or, they want to go ahead and Amazon next day it, right? We're not Amazon. We're not a huge warehouse, and we have a bunch of robots doing everything, right? I'm the only robot there at that point. But, we do offer an incentive for full payment orders. We get them within like an 8 to 10 week timeline. I've seen some orders done as soon as, 4 to 6 weeks, but it all depends.
What up, Ron?
It all depends how hot the fire is that day, Oh, well, we had a job where I think the guy waited the last minute to go ahead and do it, and I think we knocked it out in like 2 to 3 weeks. He's like, I have a huge deadline coming up, XYZ custom, but the design was like a smoothie, but it had these curvatures and XYZ, and I think that was a 15, 18 grand job, but we were able to finish it within that 2 to 3 weeks time, and it was just go, and there was a few things that we maybe not the smoothest exexecution, but design wise, perfect, right?
But it wasn't like SEMA status where it had like a Bluetooth center cap or.
Yeah. I mean, even then, you know some bills that are just they have to meet that deadline no matter what, right? So I think this was one of those. We executed the design, but looking back on it, we're like, you know what, we could have made some adjustments, right?
Okay.
So it's a give and take in that at that point.
Okay. Damn, dude, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, but see, it depends too. Like you said, how you want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like how fast, are you gonna be like, hey man, I need it like now, or that's how you got to. Yeah.
Like I need something in a week. I'm just like, I don't know, man. A week, honestly, I don't know, man. Unless my guys are okay with overtime and we have some kind of plan set that it just makes sense, right? The stars have to align at that point. That's the thing.
Yes, Kerry, he does
steering wheels. Absolutely, steering wheels. Okay, billet steering wheels with a billet aluminum ring, where everyone else's ring for the most part is plastic. A lot of people's rings are just plastic. It's plastic wrapped in leather. Ours is not. Ours is the actual solid. You can go on our website. I don't know how this works. Website here.
Yeah.
There, right? You can go on our website. You can go to the website and you can see how the steering wheels are made, and that ring is parted off from the face of an actual forging. So each ring has an owner, right? Like it came from somewhere, and you can rewrap that ring over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
It's going to outlive all of us.
I bet. Yeah. One of my friends probably still has a washer from like the 70s and it's still working right now.
There you go. It's just it was built with quality. That's the thing.
Okay, so it's like, damn, dude. So you never know, guys. Maybe one day we will, he'll send us a defective so we can show you guys that it's fucking something. That it isn't something that's going to be half-ass. It's quality made, good metals.
I'll send you guys. I have a wall just full of inventories. Right, I'll go ahead and send you one, and I want you guys to beat the living crap out of it. Okay, and see how well it holds up.
Deal. You got it, guys.
All right, you pay for shipping. Okay, pay for shipping, but I want you guys to abuse it and beat the crap out of it and see how well it holds up. Okay.
All right. Deal. Definitely. You see, you're
I
heard it
am
here
captain of fuck around and find out.
There you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Just saying.
first.
Just
We
saying.
will
do
put
it.
it through its paces.
Let's do it. Put some
Hell yeah.
TNT on it, blow it
Shit,
up. You know,
Shit,
let's
we'll,
see.
we'll even
All
do an
right.
episode about
Hey,
it.
can we shoot it?
We'll do an episode about
I
it.
mean, you could, but it might bounce back. It might ricochet. So I
Oh, shit.
stand clear. All right, be careful. I don't take liability for what happens afterwards. Okay, that's on you guys. All right.
All right.
Deal.
Hell yeah. Deal, man. Deal. See, that shows you how good, because he's willing to be like, hey, y'all want to try it? Go for it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I don't recommend it, but you go ahead and get a sledgehammer and see how well that thing holds up.
And there's my wife.
Is
Well,
there
we're getting them
anything-
started.
Is there anything with the steering wheels that's been, I've seen the designs that are just. Do you try to match the wheel and the steering wheel sometimes?
I mean,
Or like
that's
mostly
that's
depending-
that's the goal at that point. Everyone wants a matching steering wheel, and it just depends on if you want gauge visibility. We'll do a half design. So the design
Okay.
is at the bottom, all right, and on the top you can see your gauges. Because if you do a full face, you're really not going to see how fast you're going. XYZ.
okay.
You have a check engine light. Well, I can't see because the design is covering it. Imagine just it's like having a solid, round of pizza and you can't see through it.
It's like the solid steel. Like if think about if you have a steely wheel,
Yeah.
and you have a steely steering wheel
all
to
right.
match your wheels, you're never going to see any of
Any-
those
Never.
gauges
Yeah,
that are on the
the holes.
backside.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's very important for visibility. If it's a show car or something, fine. We don't need to see the gauges at that point, right? But for practicality, you want to at least have a half design so you have full visibility.
Okay. And you guys do 6 and 9 hole style, correct?
9-hole is what we do. It's the 9-bolt application.
Yeah.
I mean, we can easily just go and change it, but it just makes things easier to do a 9-bolt. There's 6 to 9 adapters out there that you can use.
Yeah.
3 to 9 adapters for like the Peterbilts. We use some NRG hubs for some like
So that's
Nissans or
that's what I
XYZ. So you do
So
that
I got one of
and
those,
get their 6 to 9 adapter, and now you can use our 9-bolt steering wheels.
Okay, because I have a 6 one.
Yeah, you do.
I got the
I'm all-
I got the 6 the 6 one. Well, my steering wheel's in the shed, so
There you go.
but
Very
my
good.
adapter's out here. My adapter's stuck to everything's there. So
Yeah.
but, okay, cool. At least I know that, because that's where I'm always having a hard time, because everyone's like, "Well, just get a Ford steering wheel." I go, I know it's a Ford, and the Mazda is a Ford. Literally, got the bolt, got that stupid piece for the dang thing on the top. Yeah, so it's like, but they, like everybody offers the GM style, so that's why I'm like saying, like, if he's got an adapter that'll fit that, and I can just use the GM steering wheel.
Exactly. You have an adapter, it works, and let's say it's already functional for a 9-bolt, steering wheel. You don't need another hub, right? Just reuse that one. You're good to go. That's universal at that point.
That's easy enough. I definitely have some. So where do people send their ideas? for
Email,
custom wheels?
text message, mail.
Mail?
Usually Pony Express.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say
But
snail mail.
Yeah, at that point, we have a general conversation. Say, hey, I'm looking for XYZ.
Send a
Perfect.
letter, put some pictures in it, hand-drawn pictures.
Yeah, hand-drawn
Yeah.
pictures in the mail.
Yeah. Just sketch it. Sketch it with your hand. I don't care. Just I'm a visual person. We're a visual crew.
Yeah, so
we need to see it, and that's it. That's all we need to do. We see it. We can make it. Easy.
Oh, my brain's going a mile a minute right now.
A mile that fast, huh?
Well,
Yeah,
because I've got my idea for mine, and then I also have an S10 in the back, so I've got the idea already for hers. Now I just need to put it on paper and make it work.
Yeah,
there we go.
and I own Mazda, so it's going to be one of those I have to call you. Maybe
That's okay. No worries. It's just say if you want 14 or 16. Do you want solid billet with no leather? Do you want a solid with a full wrap of leather?
Yeah.
Or do you want a half wrap? We call it a split, right? Where the top face has leather and on the back you have the exposed finger grips, which is the usual mini trucking style.
I would do leather.
I know you would, but I would probably risk it all and burn the shit out of my hands and just get it all fucking solid.
Just do yourself a favor, go to the dollar store, and with when you ship it out to him, just be sure to send him some oven mitts.
There you go. Yeah, just you know, put a rag on it. Put a rag on it. You know.
Yeah, that's what everybody does.
You have to. You have to. You might start a fire if you don't. You know.
Nico asked, "Will your rims be in chrome or polished?"
Polish is our go-to. Usually they're two-piece. You know, they're 2-piece billet welded, right? So that's for the 2-piece. If we do chrome, we have to go ahead and convert those into a 3-piece. So that way they're held in with, nut and bolts, and they're sealed and torqued and Loctited. That's how we would achieve chrome, by doing a 3-piece set. So inner, outer, center, as opposed to the 2-piece welded. You have your center, and then you have your barrel, and then we just press fit it, weld it, good to go.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Just saying.
There you go. You can do custom engraving, right? Put lay frame on the horn button. Easy peasy.
Right, see, there we go.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's all, like I said, we don't say no. We just have to come to a happy agreement. Obviously.
See, say that, because then he's gonna call you and be like, "I need you to make me."
He's gonna do it here.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna be like, "I need you to make me a giant dick wheel."
Well, that would be the first.
As soon as I know your order's in, then I would do it. I'd be like, "Hey, Moses wanted you to change it. This is what he wants."
How much dicks on it? No.
Sabotage.
Yeah. Well, Moses already sent his design, so I wasn't able to disclose that. So he already ordered. Okay, so he's already on
Did you
it.
send him a picture of your butthole?
No, I didn't. No.
That is proprietary information right there. Okay,
Your horn.
we're not allowed to speak on that. Okay,
Yeah,
there.
it's custom.
I signed an NDA.
Totally violation. We got payment now.
Just butt butter.
This butt butter.
That's what it's gonna say.
That'd be hilarious.
Just butt butter, and then the steering wheel.
That would be of one. Okay,
See, that would. See,
that is true. We might not see too many of those. Okay.
Yeah, you want. See, that's what I'm saying.
But that's the thing, though. If your steering wheel ever goes missing,
It's
it's one of one. So
It'll be easy to find.
for the rest of their life.
Because I've heard that happen where some people will have like a detached steering wheel and they'll set it down in their car, and then somebody will fucking walk off with it.
Oh, there you go. People
there
are
we go.
terrible.
Nico,
can you make a custom steering wheel? Yeah, he can. Nico.
any design you want, Nico.
Within reason. Like if obviously we're not gonna go put someone else's logo, right? Like at that point, I'd rather want the long-term business. Like say, hey, I want X company wheels. I'm like, well, see if they want to do their steering wheels first, and I'd like to establish that relationship. That way, we get the long-term business, get a new client on board. You're able to order that steering wheel, and now we're able to have someone else to private label. Right, so that's our main goal. We try to achieve that, but if they have no interest at all doing XYZ, then we want to make some adjustments, because we're not here to copy other people's intellectual properties.
Probably just have a one-off, and to have.
Well, that's like with my Budniks. There is a steering wheel for those Budniks, but I would rather. I'd have to find it and do all this fun stuff, and those are old ass wheels. So that's, if I can achieve it, cool. I would achieve it, but then at that point, I would just order a custom wheel through him, and then I would also have the detachable wheel. So that way, okay, cool. I don't want to take this to the show because I don't want to set it down somewhere and there's tons of people. I'm going to a small show. Okay, cool. I can put this on here. Oh, I'm going to a club meeting. I can put this on here. That type of stuff. That would be a smart decision. That's
shit.
You chain that to your body at that point. You where you go, it goes. Okay.
Yeah, because when I ended up getting my detached the hub and everything, I got the hub and then got the adapter and then ended up getting the steering wheel that came with it that I bought.
Oh, the kit.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was a small one, so probably like a 14-inch goddamn Honda wheel. But I just want something that's like just a regular, like 14 would be fine because it's small.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
And see, that's
Yeah.
like my. So can you go bigger than 16?
Yeah, you said 17.
We have an 18-inch. Usually that's for the Peterbilt
classic
big
and the hot
rigs. Unless you're Gannon, the Magic Man, he went ahead and got an 18-inch. I'll never forget this because it's the only recent 18 inches I've sold, and this is years ago, right?
Yeah.
But he on his Hudson, he has this 18-inch solid steering wheel, right? It's huge. It's huge, but you know what? It makes the car like the interior. Just
Okay.
it was meant to be there. But
Okay.
things like it's huge. It's big. Just imagine, get a tape measure, get a tape ruler, measure 18. Right there, you go.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking in my head. I was like, I'm gonna have to go grab a tape measure and see what mine is.
Yep.
Because mine's just screwed because it's been sitting in the heat for Lord knows how long. But it's falling apart.
Sure, it's still good though. Maybe the leather. I mean, you just might have to get it rewrapped.
The leather, you start driving and it like peels off, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Start throwing it outside.
The bourbon?
Right.
Yeah.
And then where like I guess you would call like the foam, it's now separated, so there's like this inch gap that your finger like falls in between.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, yep, no, I'm done with the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I don't want this anymore.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't relate, because ours aren't made out of foam. This is all billet aluminum, so it's there forever. That's the thing. That's the beauty about these. They just, like I said, they're gonna outlive all of us.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's and how you said like most wheels. Is there like a common wheel that everybody always orders, or is it always a one-off? Because I know there's
they have house wheels. We'll call them house wheels. Your designs.
Right, like our standard production.
They have their own designs.
Like, I think the right now most popular Colorado custom design would be either the Valdez or the Mystic, which is like that old school truck wheel. Everyone has their version. It's like the the intro Imperials or the billet specialties, like it has all these holes around the outside diameter. Right. Everyone has that version, right? And just ours on the flange on that piece that covers the bowl pattern. Our design extends all the way down. Not many companies have that. I think I'm not sure if Billet Specialties does, but I don't think Intro does. I think they stop. So it's easier to just do a replacement cap where it's just no design. Here you go. But we'll bring it all the way down, and it's different on the 18s, 17s, 20s. Like they're all different. So we make it more difficult on ourselves. I don't know.
And each wheel is a one piece or a two piece, correct? Or
No,
it's
two piece. Yeah, two piece. We don't do one piece. We can. I think normally you have to order like 50 pieces. So generally we don't do any of those just because we don't have we don't have that consumer that meets that profile.
Oh,
right?
okay.
If
like
someone wants to, we can.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. It's like, I have, X company and they get this style all the time and these forgings and, they can go ahead and cover that minimum for the one piece. Perfect. Right. But since everything's custom, we just go ahead and get our standard, forging. It's about like a 2-inch mounting pad and like 1 7/8 on the face. So that way we have all that material to kind of just whittle away,
Okay. So as long as that you can somebody can give you in a like measurement wise, design wise, it can be pretty much made.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much everything's doable. The more complex it is, the more expensive it will be just for machine time and setup time, XYZ. But if it's something that we have now, let's say what's a good one? Like going back to the Valdez car wheel design, right? We have a steering wheel where it kind of flares out, right? But I would redo that steering wheel where it has the straight spokes and do like a half version, right? Okay. And I don't think we've done that. We can. No one's ordered it. We can do it, but at that point, I'd rather just someone order it first instead of just making it and now it's just on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I wouldn't charge for programming or anything because it's already one of our designs. Now, if someone just, they're asking for it and they pay for it. So, hey, you know what? here you go. You're one of one, you know?
So now with programming, is there like one set fee, or does it change upon design, wheel size?
It varies. It varies due to the complexity. You know, usually a programming fee could charge anywhere from, 1,000, 1,500. If it's very extensive, it'll be more. Or in addition to that, we'll just add on for machine time. Like, hey, you know what? This is taking a lot of time. It's going to be, we have to, tag this on and go from there.
Makes sense.
Just like that graveyard wheel, right? I didn't charge him at 8 hours, right? I'm like, hey, I'll charge you a little extra. But now that we've cut it, I'm like, okay, if we do that one again, I definitely have to charge a premium.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You probably weren't anticipating it being an 8-hour shift.
No. And I'm not going to tell him, hey, you know what? Actually, it took us longer to machine. So, here's your bill, right? That's not right. That's not good business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love.
So we do our best to do estimation. Like, yeah, we think it's going to take this time, X, Y, Z.
No, it's a one-off.
The graveyard.
Graveyard wheel?
Yeah, that's
It's
what
not
it's
on
called.
there.
Yeah, that's what
Let me
it's
see.
called. Oh, you're on his website.
So okay.
It's
Wes
not
over
on
here.
there. You won't find it on the website. It's not there.
Yeah.
Well, I understand
Okay.
that. I was looking at the Valdez because he's mentioned that.
But
that's-
it is on my computer. Okay.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys.
So that wheel, I love that.
Right. That's the
I love
Valdez.
that.
It's timeless. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Your dad's seen it at that point.
Does
We've
that
all
come in a
seen it.
6-foot?
Right. That comes in any bolt pattern because at the end of the day, the flange covers the bolt pattern, so you'll never see it. It could be a 4-lug,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 8-lug. I don't care. We just have to, make sure it fits in there, and maybe the flange might be a little bigger on an 8-lug, right? The flange might be like a 10-inch piece, but
Yeah.
you just have to make sure it all fits in there.
Okay.
Put the flange on there, and you're good to go.
That's a sick wheel.
They got a lot of them.
Okay, because he was talking about the Mystic, and you said that the wheel, you wanted to take that one down more, right? Was that the Mystic or the other one?
Yeah, so the Mystic and the Valdez. The Mystic is a directional version. The
Yeah, I was
Valdez is
gonna
a
say
straight
that's
spoke, but we've only done one steering wheel and kind of grouped it in for both. I'm like, yeah, you can get this. But for me, the Mystic should be directional in the steering wheel, right? So just imagine a half design directional. Normally we cater to, I think we cater to clockwise, but you can say, hey, I want it counterclockwise, whatever, right? And the Valdez, we'd go ahead and do like a straight spoke version. Just if you look at one of our recent posts on Instagram, you'll see our Leavenworth design. It's a multi-spoke wheel, but it's a half version. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, that makes sense. 100%.
Okay, so
These two are sitting over here scrolling on your website right now.
we're looking through wheels. So the Fire, I know the Fire is the most legendary wheel.
Timeless.
Yeah,
I
You
remember
see one of
seeing that.
those, and
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
seeing that when I was in automotive school, and
I was gonna say I haven't seen one of those since
since like
a hot minute, like 2000, like late 2000.
Yo, look at that's flat.
Oh, the retro
Oh, so you
series,
do got the retro series. Okay.
the blades or the Durango.
Yeah, there's a few areas on the website that need to be tinkered with just because the constraints of our website provider, right? Like you're only allowed to do so many pages and XYZ, and like I can literally put like 100 photos in the Lincoln section alone. At that point, it's overkill. I need to simplify it, and if you want to see more, go to like the Lincoln gallery. So that way they can just browse and see everyone's creation. But just on the website, I just need to put the highlights, right? That's what I need to work on.
Okay. And still, dude, some of the wheels, damn, dude.
I know there's a lot of legendary ones in there. I'm like, yep, I remember seeing those. The retro series.
The Blackhawks, those are pretty sick.
Yeah,
Because
I know one person that has those, and they're on an Acura, a blue 4-door.
Oh, fucking Apple has those. Yeah, I forgot.
There you go. And it's nice to know. It's like, there's always that one person like that has, oh, you know what? Like when I did a set of wheels for Josh Ellis, he went ahead and did the South Park, right? He's just like, you know what? This is timeless. I want these. It's awesome, right? And like South Park, boom, I just think of him, right?
Yeah.
And just with all my designs, there's always that one person that just sticks out, right? It's like when we did the first set of Stellas, I think before I had a name, he's like, hey, I'm looking for this wheel, and we went ahead and finished it, and then he told me a story about the significance of the name Stella, and I'm just like, you know what, just call it the Stella. And that's kind of how most wheels get their names, from either just interaction or XYZ, and we'll just go ahead and just put the name on there, and it just sticks.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys like, damn, dude.
They're still sitting here surfing on the website.
It's so weird.
These guys will be doing this for like the next hour.
To see even the old price guide from 2004.
Mm-hmm. Like on Slater's, what's this gentleman's name? I think I logged off here. Okay, like whenever I think of the Slater wheel desigin,
yeah, you're still on, but
we can hear you.
Perfect.
We can hear you, but nobody can see you.
Let's see. Hold on.
He's looking
for it's always this gentleman right here in his Ford Excursion, I think. Okay. Let me
what color?
Pull him up. Oh, here it is. It's NC Lonnie at NC.
Okay.
Lonnie.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Whenever I think Slaters, as far as who's running them right now, I always picture his his truck in my head, because he's active. He has the Slaters. There they are. Right.
That thing fucking.
You were there. Now you're gone.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
there you are.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Dude, there's a lot of red wheels.
There's okay. Yeah. Okay. So pretty much they're blank. They're blanks. They're all blanks until they get the design that somebody buys. Okay.
Exactly.
Dang, dude.
And we love
the Arroyo.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at it, you're like,
Yeah, there's so many designs. It's really hard to pick one design, and every design's a little more radical. XYZ.
Got out of their
home.
Oh shit!
There's Derek.
Derek made it. Okay.
There we go. How we doing, Derek?
Okay, the Telluride.
The Telluride. Okay, the Telluride. It's that's definitely one of Colorado Customs iconic design, and it's everywhere. The steering wheel, I think it's very unique because it just has one spoke, right? Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't have like the half or anything. It's just for that design. It's a little difficult to do. Like, what design is your favorite? It's a biased question. I love them all. But what I love more is, the connections I have with my clients. So it's not just the wheel; it's the interactions I have regarding that wheel with that certain customer, right? So like right now, I did a set of wheels of Leavenworth for our customer Donnie in Oxnard. Shout out to Donnie, and we did some Leavenworth for him, and he just purchased a Lincoln recently. He's like, man, I don't know what to get. XYZ, what should I do? But I really like the Leavenworth. Should I do it again? Maybe just, powder coat because his first set was polished. And I'm just like, well, that way it's the same wheel, but it's like the opposite, and we'll switch up the cap design. So it's the same, but it's different. Right. So there's no wrong answer. It's just a matter of preference. And, I don't lean, too much on one side. I'll just kind of give some general feedback, and you already know the answer, right? I'm just here. You're here to, toss some ideas back and forth, and you'll come to that conclusion that you're already thinking about, but you just wanted some some reassurance.
Okay. Could you take? All right, so I know it sounds weird.
Oh, now he's going to make it complicated.
Right. So the Maui 6. Okay.
The Maui 6. Okay.
All right. Okay, I like that design, but is there any way to give it a look like the Rikers Island, kind of? like a
So
weird,
a twist, basically turn it into a blade.
but not a blade, but like
Directional?
kind of like a directional, but like a weird. Like
Yeah, because it's angled
yeah,
like an arrow.
Yeah. That one's definitely it's like a triangle spoke, right? It's
Yeah,
more like a
yeah.
triangle cut,
That's
right?
still-
So that's that one, as
I would be
opposed to
interested in
the Rikers, right?
Rikers?
The Rikers Island. That's more of like the Rikers Island is almost similar to like the Slater, you know. It just has like a little. It's like a smooth version of the Slater almost. You know, maybe the curvature's a little different, but they're almost cousins at that point,
Okay.
right? Like the Slaters and the Rikers Islands are very similar, right? At that point, I'd say just pick one over the other. Just because they're so similar.
I like the design of the Maui 6 and the Maui. Like those, like
Yeah. And that's just hey, I want a 6-lug application. Okay, well then let's 6-lug it, and usually we just have to add another spoke. That way, the bowl pattern doesn't go through one of the spokes, and now it doesn't look right. I can do a 5-spoke, but if we do an exposed lug 5-spoke or a 6-lug on a 5-spoke wheel, we're gonna have to go and sacrifice one of those spokes. There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way around it. So I'd rather just do a covered
6.
flange.
Yeah.
I'd cover the lug pattern, and you wouldn't even able to be able to tell the difference.
That makes
makes
it crazy
sense.
to like make that directional though. I don't
Mhm.
The Maui 6 direction.
You're just adding a kink. to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like
we-
but not a big kink. I'm saying like just a hair, just a slight twist to where where people look at it and they go, "Dude, is that wheel messed up?" And you're like, "No. Wait,
It's the
see,
way it's designed.
it's made to look
Yeah.
like
It's
that.
direct.
Like
Go.
it's made to give you that weird."
Go and start your sketch. Okay, go and sketch it out. Right. Give me some dimensions, X, Y, Z. I mean, we can do a directional, no problem. But I think you might be looking for something different. So
No, what I
Draw
want is
it.
just like no, it's kind of almost to make it because like the convertible's got some parts on it that look like it's there, but I just turned it a hair. So like I have a lot of squares that are on the convertible are like turned or set in, and then I just turned them. So, but it's still when you look at it like, oh shit, and then you don't notice it like, oh, I didn't notice that that's turned.
With the
Yeah.
go right there
Like-
where the are and just
Yeah.
like if you look at our slammer design, if it's available on the website, the slammer, and we just went ahead and looked at the Maui, right? It still has that similar triangle cut, but it's shaped a little more differently. It has like a wider blade, right? So this is like if the Maui went to the gym, okay, and then you get the slammers, okay, just because they look more beefy. So you'll see some similarities, on some of these designs, and that's Colorado Custom. Back in their heyday and their designing, they had all these designs that stemmed from prior creations or new creations, and they were able to come up with all these legendary designs, and kudos to them.
When you guys acquired it, was there like some kind of secret meeting, or like was there a lot of stuff that was like, hey man, go ahead, yeah, but don't XYZ this, or don't, or he was like, nah, it's free and clear, it's all yours.
Yeah, I wish there was definitely some kind of secret meeting XYZ, but it was a very, very standard, transaction. It's like, here's some files, right? But for the most part, it's just old catalogs, XYZ. It's like, okay, you guys have access to do this, go ahead. Right. So there wasn't too much like, here's the master archive of everything, because at that point, no business thinks they're gonna go under. Right. So let's just go ahead and, time capsule everything. Here it is, right, for the next person. Right. At that point, that's like the last thing you do. It's like, oh shoot, okay, well, let me back up everything. Here's something, right? Boom. Right. So we got a few things, but I don't think it was, the entire collection.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Forget it.
Yep.
We already saw the severed tie steering wheel.
There you go.
So we know you guys do club wheels.
We do. We want to
Really?
make sure we get the approval from the chapter presidents because I don't want to
What up, Ryan?
I don't want to be put in that position. I want to make sure I
Yeah.
have the authority and everyone's happy with what's going on, and I'm not here to step on anyone's toes. So I'm like, hey, you get
Okay.
approval from the club president, XYZ. Are we okay to do this? Yes. Okay, good.
All right.
That's definitely how we do it for the clubs.
I'm just gonna ask this. You wouldn't have. Did you end up cutting the wheel for Tom? Maybe, perhaps the wheel.
Oh,
Tom
Toys
thing?
for Tommy.
Yeah, Toys for Tommy wheel. Have you seen that wheel?
Tom
Boys.
Jenkins.
Yeah, it'll say Toys. For
Look up Instagram Toys for Tommy.
Let's see. Instagram. I do it on my phone here. Let's see.
That's what- that's
Yep.
the wheel.
Yeah.
That's when
There's one portion of it.
yeah, that's the one he was talking about where it goes straight down.
Let's see. Like I know there's something in for like an engraving, right? So let's see.
This fool was
Tommy,
out fishing at the pond. Ryan,
Really?
where are you?
too good to hang out with.
Accounts. I might have you send me that link. Send me
Okay.
that account if possible.
All right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know there's one here that's I think it's like Dangerous Toys, and we're doing an engraving for said customer, but his name is Daryl Locke, so I'm not sure.
Hold on, let's see if I can.
I'm looking it up right now. I'll send it to him.
Yeah, but we've done, in the past we've, when they ordered, we've done severed ties, no
Yeah.
regrets, negative camber. I think there was this one club like Bio Drop. We did a few of those. It was like a radioactive symbol. What else? And obviously, we do some private label too. I can't disclose that information, but as long as everyone's on the same page, we get
Okay.
approval, we're okay to do it, we'll do it.
And then
That's the thing, and that's good that
let me see if it's on here first.
that's good that that's good that you say that because not a lot of people, some people will just be like, oh, well, I went and got this wheel made, and like you never know, you might get some petitioner to hit you up and be like, hey man, I need you to make this wheel. You make it, and then all of a sudden the dude ends up getting kicked out of a club or something. You know what I mean? So
Right. It's definitely
he does have-
Mhm.
He does have Relaxed Tacos steering wheel.
Oh,
From
well, yeah,
Colorado
because
Customs.
that's the watch. If you saw
His name is familiar. Yeah.
Relax Taco Joey.
Yeah. He has I saw his posts, and I'm just like, you know what? I haven't seen a fire in a while. Let me go ahead and repost that.
Yeah.
So it's as far as social media goes, it's a full-time job being able to
Oh, yeah.
keep track of what everyone's doing, XYZ. When they don't tag us, when they do, it makes it really easy to stay current. And it's like, okay,
that's
I'll
right.
follow you and I'll keep current and see what's going on, and
Definitely.
stay
Well,
stay active.
Yeah, we'll always give you a shout out on the show, no matter what. You know what I mean? So, like, that's regardless. So,
I appreciate that. No, that's awesome. We like to be involved, and it's just we just want to see, hey, what's everyone doing? I never saw where that project went. Like those
And that's
graveyard
cool.
wheels. Where
Yeah.
are they? I haven't seen them.
Oh, he's gonna show you the wheel right now. We found it.
No, we didn't do that.
No, okay,
No,
but
but we could.
Okay, all right. So something like that is possible, but that's where you were talking about how that's in your way.
Yeah, you can't see, like that's literally a solid design. So at
Yeah.
that point, like we probably do like a cutout version, so like you can see through the letters,
Okay.
right? That might be a little better, but it all depends on the price point too. I know there's other machine shops out there, and maybe they'll just do like a small, like ball end mill cuts, and it's something. Like they'll literally just go ahead and ball end mill it, but
Okay, but
we'll give
like-
it some depth.
Okay, so something like that, like how that wheel is, that's something that you can do, but you're like you recommend, hey man, do it this route, so it'd be a lot
Change it up a
safer
little.
if you're driving.
Oh, it's in the Subaru. The Subaru van.
Oh, it's
That's what he has it
That's
in.
what he has.
Yeah.
in it?
That's the steering wheel he has.
We're all trying to figure out where he
Hmm.
has that wheel.
I was trying to.
Yeah.
I was like, I know what it's in. I just can't. And then it just clicked. My bad.
Yeah, but it all falls down to preference. I'm not going to tell you no. I'm just going to say, hey, we can do a solid, a full face design, but can you see your gauges? Do you care? If you don't care, you know what? You don't care. I don't care. That way we both talked about it. Where you're happy, I'm happy.
Right? Yeah. That's always the crazy part when it comes to that. Is like if when you're getting the wheel and then you're it's the sizes and then trying to make sure it all works together correctly, and then it's just, see me no matter what, I want to fucking bare hand that bitch while it's like you grab it and it's like
your hand sizzles like some fajitas.
Dude, I don't want to do this again.
But see, I won't do that. I think that I would not do that. Why? Because I got the detach, so I would always be having to take
until you're walking around a show all afternoon, and you have to carry this thing around.
You got a burn mark, almost second-degree burn mark.
Yeah, you're gonna be hot potatoing this thing.
I turn it into a purse and fucking carry it around.
Yeah, at that point, you go and put a chain through the hole, right? Then you can just wear it, like Flava Flav, right? You can do one of those.
You know what? You know what, dude? If you do send us once we get that
like I say, you go ahead and pay for the shipping and just let me know what size you're looking for. And I'll say, hey, here's a few contenders, okay? Pick your favorite, right? Here's the shipping. Have at it,
Yeah, dude,
like I said, I want you guys to test the durability, okay?
I got you all day.
My thing is I'm gonna bolt it up and then like pull it back, because that's the problem I have on mine. If your background looks like shit, God, man. Yes, Ryan.
Missed it.
We haven't had a commercial.
Time.
We haven't done our ghetto commercial yet.
No, at the bottom, I didn't go that far
bottom.
because I didn't know if they wanted it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But now that I know that they want it that way, now I will go in. I will change it.
Go ahead and cue in the commercials, cue in the sponsors. Okay, this is a good break for it. All right, have at it.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we need. Because one of our he don't know it yet, but he's a sponsor. Colorado Custom, Michael Salazar in the house tonight. If you are tuning in, so yes, he's gonna continue.
Babe, you're gonna let me do whatever I want for that steering wheel.
He's gonna continue.
We're gonna test this thing beyond belief.
Freedom in design.
It's a long
as you should, okay? As you should. Hey, those steering wheels are to be used and abused, so by all means, okay? They're
I'm
not.
Just worried about, what I'm worried about for me is because of that detach. Is when I like on this one when I was driving, I pulled it. I kind of like
that's the detach.
Went to sit up, and I fucking went.
That's
like
the
that,
detach.
Like the bolt, like it just didn't hold.
Yeah,
so
that's on you.
And I had
to
put the steering wheel back on, and I'm just like,
that's on the installer.
So no, but everything was bolted correctly. The only shitty part is the bolts that were on the actual wheel that go to the hub.
Loctite.
Yeah, a little bit of low grade Loctite. Yeah. Just be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, that's what I'm working. Like, that's what something I'm going to test out with that mock-up is like.
Yeah. We can definitely get you a freak of nature steering wheel. Just make sure we get the okay from the chapter president, and we're good to go. That's it. It's all checks.
See, Derek? Is Derek still on there somewhere?
No,
Derek already.
I can tell you who's on right now. Who's on right now?
Derek wanted to go back home.
Yeah, his caretaker wanted him to go back home.
He only comes out every once in a while.
Everyone's turning in right now. It's bedtime for most adults.
I was gonna say it's like 9 o'clock. What time is it in Colorado?
Yeah, we're actually not in Colorado. Okay, we're in California. Okay.
Oh, so they're ahead.
No,
we're same time zone. Same
time zone. I thought we were on a fucking
daylight savings time.
Oh yeah, daylight savings time. Forgot we don't do that.
Ryan, prices do vary upon size.
Price definitely varies, especially on club designs. Okay. I wouldn't say a couple, right? It could be one, right? If you want the hub adapter and everything, and if you want chrome and all the bells and whistles, it'll creep into the 1,000.
What happened if we just wanted like?
What if we just want it just raw?
Just raw.
Has anybody ever asked that?
No. Like just like as soon as you
are we still talking about steering wheels?
Yeah.
No, like
not what he does on a nightly.
Pull out raw. No.
At that point, It's all, if you say, hey, like I'm gonna go ahead and do XYZ to the steering wheel, you don't have to polish it XYZ, just give it to me straight from the machine. We can do that, right? We just, it just all depends on who's doing what, right? So if you say, hey, give it to me raw, bare bones, XYZ, sure, right? Just bare at that point, right?
Well, let me ask, would it need to be treated or anything else like that coming out raw?
The forging's already heat treated, right? So no issues there. It's just when they're machined, just it has the coolant solution on it. We just go ahead and wipe it down, clean surface. Everything's already been heat treated. So like I say, when we send out that one steering wheel, use and abuse it, polishing, just takes off a micro layer at that point, right? But it's good stuff. 6061 T6, made in America, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be some fun time with that thing.
We're gonna take videos of all of it.
Oh yeah.
All the abuse that this thing is gonna go through.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see if a spoke breaks. That's also obviously the crucial question. Like, is it gonna
all we
break?
have to do is pay for shipping. He has to.
I'm gonna be in SoCal next week.
Hey, he says he's gonna be in SoCal next week.
Well, come on by. We're here off at 1620 North Missile Way. Our cross streets are Lemon and a Commonwealth. Lemon and Orange Store. Come on by.
So if he comes in, he could grab us a steering wheel and we can fuck around and find out.
Grab a steering wheel. Find out.
All right.
There we go. Come and grab one. We just have to make sure there's media. Make sure you go ahead and tag us XYZ.
Oh no!
I want you guys to. I want you guys to do the official durability test.
Oh,
okay.
We will tag you. We will send you it before we post it. And yeah, we'll send it to you before we post it. If you give us, hey, go for it. Cool.
Do it, man. Do it. Yeah, you have the stamp of approval. Okay.
Oh, we're 1620 North Missile Way.
1620 North.
Yeah,
Missile,
that's
right?
us. Yep. Right, we're right next to Leslie's Pool Supplies. All right, for all your pool needs.
Yeah, we'll make that happen, and I'll try and figure out what day exactly I'll be down there.
Sure.
So, yeah, we make it happen that way.
There we go.
Cool.
Oh shit! This is
that's what I like about the Freaks one.
because it's a hat.
No, well, it's like you said, you can still see the gauges.
Okay, so like
that's what he's talking about. So
Okay,
that's
so that
the
one-
reference.
Right.
With the Freaks wheel where you can still see the gauges.
Exactly. Because if it was like that other one that you did, that Toys for Tommy,
Toys for Tommy,
like it's just solid, right? You can't see, you can't see your gauges. So like they have to at least cut out the top section or configure it so it all fits in there, concisely, and still have invisibility, which is very important. You got to see how fast you're going.
I wonder
We do.
Yeah.
I'm like, we do. I just keep up with the flow-ish of traffic around them.
For some legality purposes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, just don't get pulled over.
Yeah.
Don't get caught.
Yeah. Put the GoPro on it, put that suction cup on there, and you're good to go.
So if you're gonna be able to, that'd be tight because then just send him the link to
Yeah,
go live,
whatever
right?
we need to do to make that work.
Yeah, all you would have to do is go video live
Uh-huh.
in there,
Uh-huh.
receiving the wheel
Uh-huh.
and what it is before.
No,
So
We'll figure it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll
come up.
Yeah, and it'd be really nice to have a competitor steering wheel out there, that's like a stainless or something, and really put it to the test, especially the rings, where people are using these plastic rings, and that thing's gonna snap, but ours, it's gonna be ding ding ding, you'll probably see some impressions, but it's still
Have you done a drop test on these?
Not personally, but probably accidentally, like oops, maybe.
yeah. Okay, yeah, but like okay.
We drop tested it.
All right, we dropped that. Yeah,
We're gonna go to the parking garage.
yeah, we're gonna drop
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. It might leave a ding on it. It might leave a ding on it, but it's still gonna hold up.
Yeah, the dings aren't not what I'm worried about. I'm talking about like, is it gonna crack? Is it gonna break?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Because well, you know why? Because I look at it in that way. you're driving and you get fucking hit or something.
Yeah, let's say you're in an accident or something, and the
Yeah.
freaking steering wheel snaps on you.
Snap in half.
You know, that's a huge
Yeah.
liability there. You know.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've
because in
done
an
it.
accident,
I've done it in
and the
dirt
steering
track.
wheel broke. Yeah.
I've done it in dirt track where the aftermarket wheel,
Yeah.
you know, removable wheel.
Yeah,
You get into an accident, and your hand pushes so hard.
that it just snaps it.
No, it oblongs it. Like
Oh,
we had a wheel that was like shaped like an egg,
Oh shit.
and I was like, it didn't break, but it was all deformed and shit. So it just went on the
See,
wall.
so look at that. We'll put it through that kind of paces of the wheel.
Of
because-
course, yeah.
Yeah. What I know I'm gonna do is like just fucking sit there and take a screw out, screw back in.
Absolutely. You know, put it to the test. Okay.
He's gonna have to like oversize
Steering
the
wheel.
screws
Crash it.
later on.
Yeah.
We're gonna crash
That thing's gonna
the
be
steering wheel.
the whole
Bro.
thing gonna be wore out like
Bro,
crazy.
the apartments,
Paint it yellow. Can
The
you paint
part-
it yellow?
the apartments are 4
You
stories.
can go ahead, paint it
Now,
whatever
imagine
color
the
you
drop.
want.
A drop
Yeah.
from 4 stories high,
Damn.
and then
See?
take one of them crummy little wheels and just
Oh yeah. Because we could take a shitty wheel and then take their wheel and be like, wham, and be
Yeah.
like, this is
There
what
you
happened.
go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I want to see the hang time on our steering wheel.
There you go. Yeah, the hang time and see, but like this. So be like, hey, see what happens? It landed, and you're safe if you get fucking in a car accident.
it's gonna be good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always the bad thing is like I know people don't think about it like, and we've had a lot of our friends that they crash
Nice.
dummy yellow. They don't paint it, but we could probably.
No, that's what
Wait.
that's what we should do is paint it like
do the stripes on
do
it.
the wheel with the
Yellow?
with the caution tape.
Yeah,
and then do the center of it yellow.
We
We're
used
golden.
to wrap it in caution tape.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There you go.
No, but see, here's the idea afterwards. Then he's just gonna make one wheel that just says caution.
Caution. We survived.
Yeah, caution.
We
survived.
survived Layframe.
Yeah.
There you go. Just make sure you do it. Make sure you do it in a controlled environment because let's say you drop that thing, it's gonna like ricochet who knows where. It's probably gonna it's gonna like go and like hit someone's vehicle or something.
Oh,
so
no,
make
no,
sure
we'll make sure
you kind of
we'll
keep
stuff-
it contained because who knows what kind of bounce you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Especially 4 stories high, I'd stand clear. Okay, I'd
And
run.
that's the thing.
The sound.
I already know.
Yeah.
The sound off of that thing is gonna be just
I just
epic.
It's gonna be wicked.
I just wonder how many people, how many steering wheels people actually like, have, where they're like, oh, I wonder if, like, put it through its paces, like, as other
No.
companies test their wheels.
helicopter drop it.
Oh, jeez.
How the fuck?
We have a helicopter.
Who's got a helicopter? Let's see who has a helicopter first.
That
We
would be-
no, we have access
that
to a helicopter.
Don't look at me. I don't have access to a helicopter.
We have a buddy
He
that
said-
we have a buddy that has a helicopter.
We just get right.
Yeah. Or like you see,
100% he would let us drop out of there. Yeah, he
you,
would.
you see these companies that like they make the phone cases for like the
Yeah.
iPhones and everything, and like they're dropping it from like multiple stories high, and like what, that's durable. I like to see those those crash tests. So it's something like that for your steering wheel. How durable is it? And
Can we drive with it?
it's a fun little fact at that point. If it holds up.
Oh, I'm doing it.
We're driving.
We're
For
driving it.
sure.
Because you never know, something could happen, mysteriously happen, and if you wind up stuck between your wheel and the fender, and you're dragging the shit.
No,
out of it.
what happens if you crash and you fall out of the car? You got your steering wheel and you put it on the ground.
Yeah.
You know.
It might save you. You know what? He had death grip on it,
Stranger things happen.
Mhm.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be awesome.
man. And what's funny is he's gonna start getting all these videos of stuff being sent to him. It's gonna be
Not that one.
Oh no! After we're
And then-
done,
and then
No.
it's gonna be like, and
after
then we're gonna go on the website and be like, see, our wheels hold up to the durable strength of what you can put it through. And it's just
Or
fun.
we're gonna send it back to him. After we're done, we're gonna send it back to him.
There we go.
Yeah. At that point, you guys keep it. You guys frame it. We'll just do like the Colorado custom, steering wheel challenge. See if it's able to endure the task. And here's the baseline. Here's a genuine Colorado custom steering wheel. It went through the
That's it.
abuse,
That's it.
and there you go. What better test than that? For
Yeah,
durability's
that'll
sake.
be- That'll be nuts because
Jeez.
See,
We're gonna fuck up after the first try.
Yeah,
No.
or the ring, right? I think I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys a split, so that way you guys can take off that top ring, that
Oh, okay.
removable piece, and
Okay.
that one right there. That's gonna be a real easy way to tell, if it's an actual, billet aluminum ring, or if
Okay.
it's gonna be that plastic
That
like everyone's
plastic.
doing, and that plastic is gonna snap,
Yeah.
right? But that billet, it might slowly bend, but you have to go ahead and give it a lot of force to go ahead and make
Right.
get that to bend,
Okay.
So that's a separate test on its own right there.
Hell yeah, we'll bend the shit out of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I say, it might bend, I'm sure, with the right force, with the right
Well,
angle,
here's the
but
thing.
it won't snap.
Yeah,
It definitely won't snap.
Here's the thing: if we can bend that ring, and get it to bend, and then attempt to unbend it and get it back on the wheel,
I kind of like what she had going though.
you just want to bend.
No.
No, put it in a vise
Okay.
and your arm
Oh,
wrestling.
yeah, there you
is
go.
good.
Oh, that'd be tight.
You know
There
what
you
I'm saying?
go.
Like,
Let's see you against the steering wheel, right? Let's see who wins.
Wrestle to bend it themselves.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
could go around the car show and literally be like, "Hey, try to bend this."
Yeah.
Try to bend this.
Oh, we're gonna make so many episodes out of this thing.
Yeah.
And then
There you
if we
go.
do get a helicopter drop, we'll have to do a special episode with him, and then he can get all the family together and be like, "You guys are
that
not
sucker's gonna be like
you're like,
way
you're
up
not
there,
gonna believe this."
and all you're gonna hear is
Mhm.
No,
where it
there you
goes.
go.
I have no idea.
I'm telling you,
Gonna get some hang time.
At this point.
I'm gonna say that thing is gonna do two things if it comes down from a helicopter. It's gonna fucking shatter. Because I'm gonna say from the inertia and the force of it coming down, it's gonna shatter. I don't even think it's gonna have time to go bing. I think it's gonna go boop.
Oh, it'll go big.
You think
It'll
it'll
go
go?
big.
Yeah.
For sure it's gonna go
It's
big.
gonna go bing, and then the
I think
pitch.
like a
Fucking
5 to 1,000 foot drop.
Yeah.
It would be more. You don't need to go anything.
Oh,
else.
this
Yeah.
cool. These two want to take it in a helicopter. I'm not
No,
going.
that's what I'm saying. Even
I'm not going in a
I
helicopter.
don't want.
I'm not going. No, I'm not going in a helicopter.
Anyways, back on the program.
Yeah. All right. So steering
good tangent for
Here's-
durability.
You're not going in the helicopter. It's
steering-
better for you.
good, awesome. Because I don't fly.
He doesn't do flying.
I'm like Richie Valens. Fucking don't do that shit. I already, airplanes are flying upside down. No, don't need that.
There we go. No bungee jumping, no
No bungee
skydiving.
jumping.
Okay.
Fuck, I barely jump off a cliff in the lake. Dude, with the wheels and everything, and all the time that you're putting into it, and you guys are just throwing out these awesome sets and from the old school catalog, from what we see, and the wheels that are just nostalgic to a lot of us. How is it that has it been a lot different from when you guys got it to like how the scene has come about now with everything going on, or are you guys just adapting? All right, cool. Send us the wheel, we'll just do it. Send us this, we'll figure it out.
I'd say we're at this moment we're definitely adapting. When I first came on board, this was all new to me. I don't know anything about wheels. I went to Cal State Fullerton for for psychology. I have my bachelor's in psychology, XYZ, and business administration. But with my parents, we acquired the company XYZ, and at that point we have something, so let's put all of our eggs in that basket. But right now what's really funny is all the kids of mini trucking like dads and moms, that scene, now the kids have money, right? So now they're grown up, and now they have adult money, and like, hey, you know what? I always loved these companies and mini trucks, and now I'm building one for myself, and now I can afford it. Right, so we're definitely having these conversations with those kids now, which are
That's
adults.
Right. That's tight, because us adults here are just, some of us are just like, holy shit, we like. I was one of those kids from back in the day that when I was growing up, looking, when the wheels started coming out, and they were, all the stuff that was going on and shit, the magazine and everything. Oh, jeez. With wheels and everything, like a lot of us remember seeing some of those wheels in model car boxes. The boy,
Or you would buy them separately.
or you would buy them separately. Like the Aurora was, the Aurora was one that was featured on a Boyd Coddington model car.
No, it was on a Tegra.
No, but also on the green one, on the green like the 57 one that he made, like that.
I know the Taggy and the Civics. They came with extra,
So yeah, those
extra wheels and stuff like that.
It's crazy to see like the wheels that you guys done. Like when I picked up some model cars and I was like, dude, this is sick, and then looking through magazines and seeing the wheels and going, holy shit, like this is fucking sick. Like damn, and checking out the wheels, getting on the website, looking at steering wheels, and be like, man, one day I'm gonna get one of those, and fucking fast forward to 2025, and here we are talking to you, about wheels, and this guy's fucking Tackleberry is gonna go to check out your shop and get us some.
He still is.
No,
He's still on the website.
That's
why he's sitting here quiet.
There's a lot to see.
Right.
There's a lot to see on that website,
Yeah.
and it's still
for the
not
last 45
finished.
minutes.
Yeah, it's still not
But
finished. There's so much to add.
Yeah, dude. And it's tight though because like those wheels, and all the wheels that we've all seen, like it's crazy because now I'm just like,
No, I keep hearing the music bumping. I don't know where it is. I keep.
There's a party going on. Okay.
Well,
it's
we don't have
early
that
Memorial Day weekend.
It's the ones that stay up all night and take copper from somebody's swimming pool.
Okay, well that's no fun.
Yeah, those monsters, man. Those zombies are always up all night everywhere.
There you go. Lock your doors. Lock your doors.
Yeah,
Be
lock
safe.
doors, definitely.
You left it fucking open.
I know.
It's wide open
I told
right
him this
now.
morning. He left the
We're
front
waiting
or the
for,
side door wide open. I'm like,
Yeah.
It
But,
happens.
dude,
It happens.
It's so crazy that like the wheels now, like man, dude, like now I'm just like, cool. I'm gonna start having to now make measurements and hopefully get a wheel and soon.
you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Off camera talk.
Yeah, that's crazy because
You're gonna have to buy the piece for it and then suck your rear end up all the way and then see where
it sits.
it's gonna rub so that way you can have the correct offset to tuck it enough and know exactly how wide you can go.
I'm sure most wheel, including him, just probably need the factory offset for a factory wheel, and then do the calculations. Okay, I'm going to do this size, this depth, the proper offset.
Yeah, so there's some websites online that you can look at for just general measurements. Like there's bigwheels.net. You'll put your year, make, model, and it kind of gives you like a range that you can play with. So there's a high offset, low offset. We kind of just like that sweet spot. But for those that want to be a little more advanced, we do have our measurement form that we have online, and we'll send you a link because I'm a visual learner. And it'll go, step by step, and at least that way we can paint the picture of what you have in there. So that way it's like, okay, I have 10 inches in my wheel well, and you can't fit a 10 inch wide wheel because there's no clearance, right? So at that point, do like an 8 wide, which it'll be 9 inch total width. So now you'll have half an inch clearance per side. But even then, you want to give yourself at least like an inch clearance. Both sides. That's the happy medium, right? But what I always say is see what your current wheels are, establish that baseline, right? What's that backspace? What's that offset? It's like, okay, this works, right? Now if you want to go wider, okay, like now you have this much clearance on your outer fender. You have 3 inches. Okay, we can fill it up with like 2 inches of lip, right? And you'll still have 1 inch clearance, right? So it's just it's not a race. If you have wheels now, that definitely helps to establish a baseline. But there's also some pretty cool like Amazon tools you can get. Like you can literally put up to your bolt pattern. You can kind of play with the offset. Like one of these. So there's a lot of helpful tools out there.
That's what I was talking about. There's like a kit type deal that you can like kind of bolt onto like your front hub assembly, your rear wheel, but it bolts on and then everything's adjustable on it. So you can adjust how big of a wheel, how much of the offset.
Yeah, that's that stupid triangle thing that you stick on the tire that you want, and it goes.
There you go. If you have the tire, mock it on, and then that way you can kind of just play with the offsets, and at least it'll get you, a general picture. Or what I do for our builders, and they need something to play with, we'll send them a test wheel which is either like a solid wheel center with the bowl pattern or something we have in the back. And then I just go ahead and find a used barrel, so that way I don't have to charge too much.
Okay, here's a question: is it possible to make like a mock-up wheel with a 5 and a 6 pattern?
What, you
Or
mean
no?
both?
I'm just saying
because
if we can,
it might get into like the other holes, like a
Okay.
5 lug and a 6 lug, but for testing purposes,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's doable.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
because
might not look aesthetically pleasing, but
yeah,
it'll
no,
do
it
the
doesn't have
job.
to. No, I know what he's talking about. The 6 lug so that way you can put it on a 6 lug,
And then
you can take it off and
see
put
what
it on a
looks like
5 lug.
And then
But you could technically 3 lug it or 2
Well, no,
or whatever to just have it hold it in place. And
Yeah,
go up.
That's just a mock-up.
that's what I'm saying. Like if he's able to do a mock-up wheel,
Yeah.
where we can just go, hey man, we just need one wheel.
Yeah.
With both lugs. Why? This size, this width, or
Mhm.
whatever, just to play with, okay, cool, we're gonna stick this much,
Like a Toyota. I'm
Yeah.
assuming a Toyota lug pattern.
There you go.
Kind of,
If you have all custom requirements, that's the thing, right? Now you can't use any stock wheels, and now you're in a bind. Like, I can't use anything. What do I do? And we'll get those calls, be like, hey, I have a custom build XYZ, and I know I need this size, but I'm not sure exactly what to do. I'm like, well, you know what? You need to test fit, right? Let's go ahead and put together what you think is going to work. Well, let's say 20 by 8.5 with a 5-inch backspace or a 6-inch backspace. Try it on, and it's like, okay, you know what? Like, this works, but maybe I want to push in the wheel a little more, or I want to push the wheel out, right?
Okay.
So it's not welded, right? It's just kind of
Alright.
pressed together. If you have like a torch, right, you can put
Heat it up, and you
some
can
plates
kinda
on the
move it.
backside, and there you go. You can move it in increments, and then that way, it's like, okay, you know what? This is the perfect fit. I want it just like this, Mike. This is exactly what I want. Let's do it. We took care of the fitment, right? So that's kind of what we do with our builders.
Actually,
or
I was just thinking about that in my head, and I'm like, yeah, no, that would work. It's same equivalent of Yeah.
But you actually have
a wheel with a tire
that you can
that you
use
can
for
move.
a couple different
Yeah, you can move
applications.
that center off or on, or because you could. I mean, in his for his, obviously his back wheels need to be tucked in more.
Yeah.
But the front doesn't need to be tucked in more. So he's going to have basically a reverse offset with the wheel.
Yeah.
The
Well,
wheel's
because
going
the
to
way
be
the
more
box is,
flat
yeah.
in the back than in the front, where in Chevys they're flatter in the front, and then you can get that big lip on there like everybody else does.
It's
Absolutely, you want a big lip on the rear always. If you can, get that lip.
Oh yeah, man. Dude, this is like to figure out, to know that what it takes to make a wheel, what it takes to design a steering wheel, and then knowing that hey, as long as it's something that's doable, that's not too outrageous and too obnoxious,
Mhm.
it's able to get done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, we'll never say no at first. It's just if it's like something that's just crazy ridiculous, and it's just it's not feasible. And I don't think we've come across those scenarios yet. It's just obviously it does come down to price. They're like, oh, I want all this and that, but I only want to pay $2,000 for a set. I'm just like, you know what, that's not us, and that's okay. We can say no, because in that instance, we'll definitely not say yes to you, because, we have to value our time too, and X, Y, Z. And we want to make sure if we're going to go full force in there, we have to come to that happy medium. We're definitely not the cheapest wheels, but we're also not the most expensive wheels either. So, I think our price point is really good for, you get good quality product, and you can definitely get it customized, and it might not be like a super name brand like the other, elite, manufacturers like Forgiato or XYZ. And they make some awesome stuff. They have a big brand, it's the Nike of car wheels, and You
Yep.
know, they have all these, cool, flashy designs. That's
Listen.
awesome,
But sometimes it's not about the Nikes. Sometimes you could throw on a pair of nice set of Chucks, and
Of course. And that's why there's all these different brands. It's just it's good options for the consumer.
Yep.
You don't have to stick to
It's
just
what
one
you
thing.
like.
But
It's
for
it's
me,
what you like.
yeah. But for me, because I'm gonna say, well, because I know a lot of other wheel companies, like it's always costs a lot more to make it a 6 slug, I've done a little bit of research, and a lot of places are always like it's straight out 5, 5, 5, 5. Like it costs a little extra to make it. I'm like, but to be like, hey man, yeah, we can do that. 6. That's the thing. Like 6 slugs are fucking very hard to find. Very hard to find, and especially for like not being a Nissan and Toyotas, the rear ends are a lot shorter in Toyotas. So the offsets are always different. So it just
I was
depends.
going to say though, isn't this still a modern Chevy 6 slugs? The same as the older Mazda, Nissan 6 slug?
I'm gonna say yeah, but I know they there was something a little bit different in certain years. Can't remember off.
You used to be able to take like
They
wasn't it like Suburban wheels or the Denali wheels?
yeah, the Z71s. Okay, I wonder if anybody has done that yet. Brought you like a design that looks kind of similar to that.
What,
But
stock?
Almost like a stock wheel,
Like stock 71?
Yeah, like a
on the
Z71.
website. Oh, yeah, but I know he's got other factory type looking wheels that they've done.
Okay.
Yeah, like we you mentioned factory. I think we did like a factory style. What was it, like a Chevy? It was like a Chevy replica stock wheel, right?
Oh, the Impala
And,
replica.
Yeah, there's
not
them.
not the Impala replica, but here, let me see if I can pull it up for you here. Okay,
That lens almost looks
let's
like a
see.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. Okay,
That was sick.
this is, what was the vehicle it went on? This went on a 2024 Chevy Silverado. Okay. And he just wanted like a stock, like a stock looking design. So we went ahead and did it, replica version, of course. We did 20s.
It is on the site.
No, it's on the site, but I'm going to show you right here. Okay.
Oh,
I think I posted on Instagram. It was a little bit ago, but let me go ahead and switch. Okay. So we did that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those are sick.
Right, and it's just like
It's like an old school trailer.
It's literally a replica. Yeah, it's like a trailer looking. It's literally the stock wheel that he sent to us. I don't know if I have a photo of what he sent us here, but it's simple. It's simple, but he's like, oh well, I want I want it in 20 because I don't think the stock size was 20. I think it was maybe a smaller size. I could be wrong, but here we go. Here's his stock. Okay. Here's the stock
those are like 15s
like
or
15s, yeah.
15s or 17s or
yeah,
something.
like the trailer, the old school trailer tires. Yeah.
Exactly. So let me see if I'm able to zoom in.
Blow that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
size.
okay. Yeah, those
Right,
those like the Steelies, like the Steely.
Yeah, they're
wheels
Steely
for 'em,
wheels with that plastic. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Billis.
So maybe they're like 17s or something, right? But he's like, I want 20s, right? So I'm like, yeah, we can do it. So we went ahead and did.
Yeah.
That's
that
the 20
looks sick.
version.
Yeah, we went ahead and did it. So
That's
it's
nice.
all doable, right? It's just
Oh,
So
They have
literally,
to-
you can send them like a stock photo of a
Yeah.
wheel, and
Have them-
I want
have
this
them-
in a 22.
I don't know.
exactly.
No, I don't.
I don't know. Because
But
the
you
Mazda
really have to like a stock wheel design.
the only stock wheel design that
But
I
if
like.
it complements it, like for the build that you're doing, the paint, the end goal, that's gonna set it off a little bit more.
If he could do, if I know he can, but like if I were like, here, I'm going to send you a picture of a factory Mazda fucking 14-inch wheel. I'm like, can you make that in an 18?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Here's another replica. Here we did a Viper. We did a Viper 3-spoke. Okay.
Oh
and
shit!
here's
I know what he's talking
here.
about. I was like, oh
Go
shit! I
ahead.
know what he's talking about. I used to love Vipers.
Let me see if I could.
Yeah, like
for the first
Oh,
gen.
sorry. Okay, so here's here is the wheel that we did.
Shit.
You
Is that a
know,
spinner?
no,
That's
I
a
mean
spinner.
it's spinning, right?
Oh,
But
that's
you know,
Spinning.
he went ahead and sent us his stock caps, and he
Oh,
said,
shit.
"Hey, you know, I want to use my stock caps, but you know, make the wheel, right?" So we went ahead and made them. I believe these are in 20s.
Damn,
Okay.
dude, that's badass.
So you know, it's all doable, and you know, here it is on the actual vehicle,
Yep.
Oh shit. Yeah, those are way
bigger.
right? And it's one of one. You know,
That's rad.
That's fucking
Wow.
badass.
That's
man.
rad. I like that.
That is.
Even like it's something so simple for me. It's like
Yeah.
a stock wheel that's just bigger. Like you didn't get that option back in the day.
No.
Right, exactly.
I like the way he did the Lincoln wheels and the Caddy wheels.
Yeah.
Because he still got that sick cap in the center. You know, like
Well, you gotta
Leavenworth, but
like
yeah,
Leavenworth.
you gotta think whatever Escalade wheel that he's designed that went on an Escalade.
Mhm.
All you have to do is get the back spacing
Oh, and then just
for
fucking-
the fronts of yours,
Yep.
and they'll
and then
and he can just cut that offset off in the back.
Oh, okay.
And so it's all it's all doable. It's just a matter of input at that point. What do you want? What are you trying to achieve? What are you looking for? Because at the end of the day, it's your wheels. So
You're the one that's got to deal with them.
Well, I know. I know, but
let's
it's
make
so hard.
it to your criteria.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
I don't know. I just want it simple. Like if
Here's
I don't know what a 20-inch stock Mazda wheel would look like with a cap. But like something. I
yeah,
just, I
like
don't know.
we were talking about custom designing the steering wheels. Here's like a Corvette like cross flag that we did, right? Where it's like the bar,
Yeah.
right? So here's the
shit.
the flags right here, right?
Holy shit. That's badass.
So
The
you know,
Corvette symbol.
we've only done one. We've only done one,
It's a miracle those aren't flying off the damn shelf.
That's a
but it's
Yeah,
all
again, they're with the Chevy.
With the Corvette logo.
flags and everything.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
really shocked because
you could put that up, and every
Corvette
old
guys?
guy would be all
Yeah,
over it.
man.
Corvette guys. Well,
Yeah.
the only thing is, unless
Well, that's
the
the
dude-
one.
Yeah,
say-
the Corvette guys like the stock, okay, and that's okay. They want the original XYZ, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. It might be
That's still
more of
You
the
just
the
you switch the stock
younger
in,
people's
that-
game.
that would also
know.
be-
yeah.
But those old school, diehard Corvette guys, they don't want to see no aftermarket in the interior. They want that thing stock,
yeah,
and that's okay. There's no wrong answer,
that's true.
Oh shit. Hell yeah, man. Well, when
So the sky's the limit. That's the
Sky
thing.
is-
The sky's the limit.
Okay, and dude, what if you want to let everybody know what website they can reach you at, and if you want to do any plugs right now, you're more than welcome to, plug away. And where can they reach you to get some of these awesome?
Where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah,
Well, there's many channels that you can access me. Okay, definitely Instagram is probably our main social media platform, just because I think there's just the most amount of active users and clients on Instagram. Facebook, honestly, if you send me a message on Facebook, I might not see it because it's not as seamless, with the app. Like I'll go in and it will try to go into my personal account and XYZ, so I might not see the message there. Where Instagram, it just hits me directly. So Instagram is definitely the best. Go through our contact form on our website at coloradocustom.com. That's custom, CUSTOM. If you go to customs, you'll never see us. Okay, but go to the contact form, fill out your email correctly. If not, if I try to email back to you, it's going to say wrong email. So, make sure the contact information is current. There's also, the text line, 714-624-8403. I have an image. I want to show you, I'm working on this project. And I have an idea, right? That's pretty much where we start, right? Show me your idea. Let's see what we can do together and collaborate. We definitely do have our landline too, but I'm in and out of the shop XYZ, so the landline's really not the best.
I already know how to reach you, so I
But,
already know.
very, very easily,
Yeah.
easy to reach. If
Yeah.
you send an email, I might not reply back ASAP. If you don't get a reply back in like 24 hours, call us,
All right.
okay? Because I'm definitely not trying to avoid anybody.
No,
I'm
no,
just
definitely.
going from here and there, and
Yeah,
I'll miss a few phone calls.
But you're
But
doing something. You could be back there making a 6 steering wheel.
I could.
doing
I
badass
could.
shit.
Yeah,
He's gonna
here's one
yeah.
here's one we did for a mini trucking. I don't know who the customer was, but since we're talking about mini trucks, and I'm just looking through our gallery,
Okay.
right?
All right,
This
let's
one's right here. It says mini trucking.
That's the one that fucking Tom has.
No,
that's
a
got to
duplicate.
be that one.
No, it's a duplicate.
It's a duplicate. I thought
Right.
that was the one. That's sick. Okay,
But,
so that one, the way that one is, you could have done it where the word would be like in the middle, right?
let me go back to that. Let's see.
Well,
One more time.
That's a stock.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's just how the client requested it. So
Yeah,
it
that's how they
definitely,
come
on the mini, that's where it took, the most machine time, just because you have all those little like
Okay.
diamond triangle cuts in there.
Yeah.
So that probably took it to, maybe like 2 hours, give or take, maybe 3. I'd have to double check, but that section definitely does take a lot of detail. But down here, this is quick. Down here, this was really very easy. But here, that one gets a lot of detail.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they came back in the day. That's the cut that they had. So all they did is they found somebody that had the wheel
And then
sent it to him, and then they just duplicated.
and now.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, dude,
I really wish I would have bought that wheel off Clint. Back in the day.
Back in the day, there you go. Got a piece of history at
years
that
ago,
point.
yeah.
When it was sitting on his wall, he's like, "Oh yeah,
10 years ago.
give me $200 for it." I'm like, "Shit, I wish I had $200 right now." Now I'm
There
like,
you go.
"Bitch."
Yeah, I
Deal.
bet you right now, Clint's gonna chime in and go, "Oh, I still got that wheel hanging up in the
No,
fucking
he sold it
dish."
to Tom.
Deal of the day. Okay, that
Yeah,
one right there was I think his last name is Hoyt. For that one. Okay. Mr. Hoyt.
It's probably somewhere in the Midwest or in the back east. I think it'd be somebody around here.
Arkansas,
Yeah.
Missouri.
Let's see. I don't want to disclose too much information,
No,
just
you're
for but that one is in Georgia.
Oh,
Georgia.
shit. That's what I said. I knew it. It had to be somewhere like in the back east.
Mr. Hoyt in Georgia. Okay. If you know who you is, that's you. All right. So
That's tight,
shout
dude.
out to Mr. Hoyt.
That's badass, man.
Yep.
That fuck, man. People are getting some sick ass wheels
And
Shit.
steering wheel.
and steering wheels. Yeah, dude. Like, makes. Yeah. See now I'm just like already thinking of like, okay, with everything and all that. So, but look, man, I want to thank you for coming on. I know it's already. I know you got to get up soon and get to bed.
It's all right. Our son is gonna keep us up. He's having a tough time right now. So
Yeah.
you'll probably be up at like noon or midnight. 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So it's all good. It's all good. We do what we can.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Okay, so I want to ask you like archives, like how you're going through your archives.
Yeah, I'm just going through my Google Photos album.
That's still badass with the different size wheels. You're gonna go get a measuring tape, man.
No,
I
I'm
figured.
gonna put us back on power so that way we don't die in the middle
Oh,
of this.
okay. Oh, shit.
There, you guys have like some food over there that's like getting cold, man. You guys have to heat that up. It's gonna be a late dinner.
Yeah. Because it's,
No, I already had dinner.
yeah, he already had dinner.
I ate dinner right before the podcast.
There you go. Smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Wes
smart.
Wes shows up with drinks. That's all Wes shows up with.
There you go. Drinks are the best part. I love me a cold beverage. Okay, it doesn't matter what time of day.
You're already in my now.
Oh, you're already in this. You're in it to win it.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Okay, steering wheels and wheels and.
That's cool. that
Wheels,
there's
wheels, and
companies
wheels.
that's still around from
Yep.
literally back in the day.
Yeah, I remember.
Doing
Yeah,
the old school, and granted, I'm not taking away anything new designs or whatever, but still going back, has the ability to take care of the old school
Yeah,
stuff.
because not
that
a lot of
built
people
that
do that.
company literally from 1994 to
where-
present day,
And
and
their
everything else.
present day.
And,
So
like literally, you don't find that.
I just like
And we've had
seeing.
those discussions off camera.
Yeah, I like seeing things that we grew up looking in magazines,
yeah, and then
and they're still
They're
thriving.
Still doing
yeah,
it,
they're still thriving. Like
Yeah.
for example, Air Slam It. Air Slam It is
may they
Gone.
rest in peace.
gone. Like
Gone. Air
I
Slam
don't
is
know how else to put it.
They're just
I've
gone.
seen the
You bought
photos
anything-
and videos,
Yeah,
and it's
if anybody's bought anything
Horrible.
for Air Slam It, sorry to tell you,
they gone.
they gone.
Colorado, Texas.
But Colorado,
Yeah, and even then, like COVID was very strange. Like you were seeing people just like fall off the map and
Yep.
XYZ. I think who was it? I think it was like I don't know if it was like AccuAir. Like I think they
Yeah.
they went
Yeah.
down during that
They-
time, but they came back, and I'm just
Yeah.
like that was so crazy in that moment to see like we're closing our doors. I'm just like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, they almost went. They almost filed for bankruptcy. I think it was.
yeah, and then somebody,
That business stuff, and then
Yeah.
I think a company out of Florida.
Yeah, somebody backed them, and then they went back.
it's just
live
it's,
again.
yeah, it's just always some shit went down.
Mm.
You know, fights broke out. And
Sorry, Nico.
somebody got mad and where?
Sorry, Nico.
Yeah.
Here you go. Question.
Nico, where's Nico?
Yes, we can. We can make 19s and 18s. We can do 17s, 16s, 15s, 14s.
Let's
It's all doable, man. It's just whatever you
yeah,
want.
tire wise, you're ordering.
Yeah, tire wise, make sure you find the tires first because the wheels are the easy part. But
Yeah.
let's say you're having a really tough time finding the tires, don't do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna go ahead and have these wheels that you can't have access to tires. Not a good idea. Like 16s, I think I can't tell you the last time I made 16s because I think it's difficult to find the right tires, at least like for the wide applications.
Yeah.
Like I
You're-
think it's
you're
just
ordering
Low
a tire.
profile.
Yep.
Side
Mhm.
Yeah. See, and then
They're almost impossible to find anymore.
yeah, and my thing
exactly.
is like if I'm like I'm on 20s, I'm gonna stick with 20s.
No, it's
everybody's like-
Find everything.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, go 22 or oh, go 24. I don't want to
No,
put rubber
20s.
bands.
Exactly.
what-
Give
for
yourself
what
a
we
good
did-
sidewall. 20s
Yeah,
is the happy medium. It's a good size, and you still have a great selection of tire. You have a good
Exactly.
sidewall. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I like having. So when I rebuilt the Suburban, I have room to go for a higher tire and still have the body drop.
So there you go.
I can add more cushion because out here the roads suck ass. It's just like out there in California.
Most places, roads are terrible. So
Yeah.
give yourself a fighting chance with that
Yeah.
sidewall.
Yeah, because
You
I
know.
don't want to, especially if I'm ordering a set of rims, I don't want to hit a pothole and have to send my wheels off to go get fixed.
Yeah.
You're grabbing the steering wheel, grab a mock-up wheel so we can test that bitch too. Dude,
You
we
work out
we will find a way to roll that thing on the street and hit a pothole to see if that thing will smack.
you work out the details with Tim after.
Like we're just gonna wind up testing all these products.
I can test everything.
There you go, man.
I'm the
We
worst.
got the stamp of approval from Lay Frame on the durability test.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a
Oh, we
big
have you
check right
covered.
there.
Yeah, and
You
then
know.
and other people will start hitting us up. Like, you guys want to? Yeah, we'll fucking see
Dude,
how
I
we
would
put this
test
shit.
all your crap. I will just drive down the I-17.
Yeah.
The I-17 out here is the
Yeah,
worst.
that's
There you go. If it passes the I-17, then it'll do everything
that's,
else.
That's a lot.
You know.
You're doing a lot of like.
Yeah, it's one of those numbers like you have to like. Okay, cool. I know where I'm at. I have to go over here. I know which lane I'm in. Oh shit! I got to go over here because there's a ladder in the middle of the road. Okay,
Yeah,
now we're back in the lane.
A
and-
washer, a mattress, a couch.
At that point, the line shouldn't be straight. It should be like curved, so that way
Oh, yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
already guiding you.
100%.
It's guiding you to where you need to go at that point, right? That's what they
100%.
need to do.
I've been pulled over for that out here.
Oh yeah,
Are you drunk or something?
Yeah, cop
Yeah.
pulls me over and he's like, license and registration. Why are you pulling me over? Well, you were swerving lanes. I was like, do you see how low I am?
Like I'm trying.
Like, I'm trying not to hit the potholes that you were hitting to pull me over. And he's like, license and registration. Gave him it, and he's like, all right, everything comes back. Have you had anything to drink? Nope, nothing. And he's like,
Yeah. He
All right,
obviously doesn't have, like a lowered or bag truck to
Yeah.
be able to relate. It's like, well, what's this guy doing? He can't drive straight. No. I'm trying to, take care of my vehicle and preserve it. Like the roads aren't good. I'm driving for my life here and for my vehicle.
It's always the bridges. It's always the overpasses. That's where those grooves that they cut it out, and it's still that big gap, and you hit it, and it's like even in my lifted truck, it's like boop, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And it's like, oh, bridge. Okay, cool, normal.
That's always the crazy thing.
You need to be a good Samaritan and get like a bag of cement and just go ahead and cement that thing and put your name on there.
I would probably get a fine.
Nah, the city would go
Probably
back behind him and start drilling all the cement out everywhere. Like,
oh
not
my
on
gosh, we didn't authorize the filling of this hole, so let's go ahead and make it a hole again.
Yeah,
let's make it a bigger hole.
Yeah, they're gonna sit there and be like, hey guys, we didn't put the sign up and block traffic for like 4 weeks straight.
Oh God.
To just stand there and fill one hole, and you're like, no. So
there you go.
It's always shitty. Because I've had trouble where like I've hit a curb one time with the wheel I had, and fucking just yeah, and it was like
no, you're scared. You're scared to go outside and check at that one. You're like, man, like how bad did I hit it?
It's one of these. It's like, oh shit.
That's do your thing. Drive it back home, and then you'll look at it.
Yeah, that's when I hit it, and I was like, and then I just drove home, and I kind of like.
Yeah, I'll look at it in the morning. Okay.
I've been there.
Okay, this is concerning, but I'm just gonna sleep it off. Okay, just let it happen. Okay.
I'm so pissed right now. I just parked it, aired it out. Nope, I'll deal with it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Out of sight, out of mind. Right? It never happened.
Yep. Went back out, and I'm like, oh, those wheels are toasted.
All right, I know this is one thing none of us asked. What is the warranty on your steering wheels and wheels?
As far as the warranty goes,
everything in general.
It's a lifetime structural warranty for the original owner. So, let's say someone else buys the wheels from you, we don't know what they did. So at least for the first owner, it'll be lifetime structural warranty, but that doesn't necessarily mean, hey, go off-roading with it. They're not meant to be off-roading. They're not meant to be, like pulled by, heavy weight, by like loading like that, right? But for regular road use, highway XYZ, limited a lifetime warranty for the first owner, for the original owner.
Okay.
Right. Polish, as far as polish goes, there's no warranty on hand polish just because it's all done via hand.
Okay.
Powder coat, I think it's only a year warranty for the powder coating, just because everything does wear over time.
Right.
But as far as the wheel, the actual integrity of the wheel, the product of either the car wheel or the steering wheel, it's a lifetime.
Okay.
Because we're not using cheap materials. It's not going to break. I'd be very, very surprised if a wheel breaks. I think the only wheel that old Colorado Custom used to do where it's más o menos, it's the slotted Slater. I think they made it very thin. So if you have a slotted Slater out there,
Wes is about to look that one up.
I say be careful. We won't see it on our website because it's not like a design that we offer. But there's some people out there that have the slotted Slaters, and they say, hey, like there's a hairline fracture, on my wheel, right?
That's the Slater.
So that's the Slater, and you can just imagine the slotted Slater. There's like a cutout on the very center of the spoke.
Oh.
So now it's making the strength of that spoke diminish, right?
Yeah.
Like you're taking out the strength of that at that point.
That's one.
So that's at that point it's in the design, So it's not structurally sound, because they just took out a chunk of material.
And that's why you guys kind of redid the slotted Slater with just the Slater.
Well, the Slater and the slotted Slater in that time, they both exist, right? But like if we were to make the slotted Slater 2025, we'd beef up those spokes big time.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So that way it's sound and it's intact. So we can do it, but we need to definitely, you know, beef up those spokes, you know, right here, right now.
Gotcha.
Okay. Holy shit.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's totally
And that makes sense why it's not on there, because it's not a real
it's not a real-
design that
yeah,
he wants to stand behind.
I
Yeah,
would-
or if we do, you know, it'll be, you know, that thicker version. It's like, hey, you
Yeah.
know, this is it's different. You know, it's the same design, but now we can back it up with the integrity. You know, now
you
it's
can call
thick.
it you can call it the thick Slater.
Yeah, instead of the slotted Slater, it's just a thick Slater.
The thick Slater.
There you go. There you go. It's meaty. Okay.
Be like a limited run, just like a limited run of like the thick Slater, and then be like, why you guys call it that? But like, cause it's just a little beefier, you know.
There you go. We added some strength to it. You know, make it sound, make it structurally sound.
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell special.
Saved by the fence.
There you go. There you
Now
go.
that's that would
we
be
just
the
ran
funniest
out.
Well, that would be the
Well,
funniest.
Saved by the Bell series.
Yeah.
And you could have the thick Slater,
Uh-huh.
right?
That is
You could have the Slater, or you could have the Screech.
or the
version.
street. Yeah, the street. Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
And then there's this you can do like a 6-spoke Slater, right? So it'd be a Slater 6, and we've even done we've modified the Slater recently for a vehicle
Yeah.
where it's not using the traditional snap cap like we do. The
Yeah.
customer says, hey, you know what? I want a bigger cap, and I don't want a hex that I need to go ahead and thread either. So I just kind of want to bolt it on. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
gotcha.
we can do that. So we did a covered lug version of the Slater with a hex cap that was bolted on, right? And that looks like this.
Ooh, look at that.
So it's got the hex, right? It has the, you know, the traditional hex that we do, but it's all one piece, and it's bolted down here, so you don't have to thread
I see the
anything.
Oh, that is
You don't have to do like any, you know, O-ring or anything. And I think this was a 6 lug actually. So it's covered, you can't see it, right? So
It's like,
That looks clean. I like that.
and
That's
so,
sick.
you know, you can make modifications to our existing designs. We just have to communicate.
That,
You know.
Okay. All right. Remember that, guys. If you are tuning in from around the world and you want a wheel, hit up Colorado Customs, and just from what we're talking about now with taking a design and giving it a little twist, stuff like that, that's the shit. And I bet you that's got
Mhm. Yeah, because it's not, you know, it's not about us anymore. Like, yeah, Colorado Custom, but it's you guys. You know, it's the client, it's the end user. It's all about you. We want to make sure you're happy with what you have. So at that point, we're just happy to be a part of it.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. So, all right. Anybody got any more questions? Anybody?
I've got to do that. I'm pro with that. If I can do it, finish like a warranty.
chrome warranty.
Chrome warranty, yeah.
As far as Chrome warranty from our current vendor right now, it's only a 1-year warranty. So at that point, you know, if it starts to chip XYZ within that year, you know, as long as you cover for shipping, XYZ will go ahead and replate it, do everything, no problem. Out of that warranty, you know, we just have to go ahead and charge you for, you know, the actual plating, you know, plus the shipping, right? That's just, I think that's just standard, because, you know, we're not doing in-house, you know, chroming. You know, we have our vendors, you know, for our chroming and our polishing. The only thing we do in-house is, you know, we do the machining, we'll do the assembling, we'll do the shipping, you know, the programming, everything, that's all done in-house. But as far as, you know, like polishing or chroming or powder coating, we have very good vendors that we have done business with for, you know, over the years. And, you know, we let the experts do it at that point. You know, we surround ourselves with people that we trust and do business with, and, you know, everyone's happy.
Hell yeah, man. That's the way to do it. You don't see that a lot from a lot of aftermarket companies. You know, 'cause a lot of
This company's in.
yeah,
It doesn't even have to be aftermarket. I mean, he's going a lot farther than most, even just,
oh definitely.
you know.
Yeah, like I think Billet Specialties, I think they do like polishing in house and all that stuff. So, you know, these companies that have those services that they offer in house, I think they can offer a longer warranty. like if you're doing in-house polishing or in-house plate, it's like, hey, we'll just send it to us and then we'll just put it in the pipeline. Right. So, maybe one day we can get to that point, but at least, if we just have good communication with our vendors, everyone's on the same page,
And it's gonna, it will, man. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, dude, like I said, like, we are happy to, have you on the show, because this is something that I never thought we'd be doing this.
No, it's going to give people a lot of answers to
a lot of
questions that, you would be getting emails about and this, that, and then some.
And then, for like how he was talking about, like, us growing up and checking out magazines, shit, I never thought, staring at a magazine and talking to the guy that's now running, now him and his family are doing the wheels.
And
Like,
we're excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
no, man,
I don't know,
you,
like people, you just say, hey, like, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, no one's
Yeah,
asked us, so we're
it's
we're
crazy.
available.
Yeah, it was nuts, because like, looking through and checking out the wheels, and then be like, I'm like, and then you're like, yeah, dude, when I got that message back from you, you should have saw him. Like he'll tell you, like you should have saw me, like,
your heart skipped a beat
I
or
was like,
something.
fuck
You're
yeah.
like, hold
I'm
on,
like, wait a minute.
hold on.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. This is something that I saw in the magazines. Like,
yeah,
back in
back
the day.
and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm like, and then me thinking, I'm like, damn, they're still around. I was like, fuck yeah, I was like, and then now it's like, oh shit, like, dude, the wheels, the steering wheel, the stuff that we're seeing, and now you're just like,
endless, it's the endless, just, no, we can do that.
It's like, damn.
You want to think that far out the box? Yeah, we can do that.
It's always thinking outside the box. It's always going to get a lot of people coming back, because they're
Absolutely. Yeah, they want something that's not on the shelf. They want something different. It's like, well, I don't want what everyone's having. I want something different, and I have this idea in mind, and no one offers it. And can you do it? I'm like, well, show me. Let's collaborate here, and let's go ahead and hash out all the details, and let's do it. It's just a matter of they have to find us, number one, and then they have to communicate with us, and at that point, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, because it's normally to see now that where the wheels gone from small size, that we were at, like, the biggest wheel back in the day was like a fucking 15. 15. Well, yeah, but when it first started, it was 14.
15 to 16.
Yeah, 15 was the easy one to get a hold of.
Yeah. And then
now we're at 20 is the easy one to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Anything under a 20, you're looking for like 14 at this rate.
Yeah, because I have 18s that I found online that were 6 slug, and I like the design. I just wouldn't mind having metal caps instead of plastic caps.
Of course, yeah, and like there's a lot of these companies right now that like, for example, I don't want to be mean, but there's some manufacturers out there that I think for their floater caps, like they are using plastic. It's plastic components. They're getting it overseas. XYZ. We've been burned actually from a supplier. Okay, and I want to be very nice about it, but we got burned, and at that point you say, you know what, we're just gonna go ahead and do our own in-house floaters. We're still tinkering with a few things, and I think we'll be shortly done with those. But these are actually made of billet. Billet aluminum, no plastic. No issues there, and it's what we do. We do billet products, and it's not no cheapy plastic. On some Rolls Royce wheels, and it's a plastic spinner. Like at least they have those resources, right? So they're able to make it look good. But we don't have those types of resources. So we know billet, we can do it in billet. Let's at least have that type of control.
Doesn't anyone else gonna ask if we can make like an old school set of spinners?
That's what the whole
Like
that's
spinner
what
spinners.
I don't know what's going.
So can you
Spinners.
make like an old school set of like spinners from like early 2000s?
Like the Viper wheel.
No, like
Well, no,
Yeah.
Viper wheel was like a spinner.
oh yeah.
The Viper was like a spinner wheel. Okay, I'm gonna say
You might have to show me what
Like
you mean
back
by that.
back on like Pit My Ride. Everything had the spinner. wheels.
Oh, okay, like the actual center, like
Yes,
the
there
vehicle
you
stops
go.
and it
Yeah.
still spins.
I'm just curious. I don't want one ever.
We
But it's just one of those like someone out
Yeah,
there is gonna
it
be
was
like,
it was definitely popping in that era. You know, it's like
yes,
2010 or 2008. You
yeah,
know, like everyone had like these definitely doable. We've never done it, right? It's just doing it correctly with the right bearings and XYZ, and I'm sure some people still have those spinning wheels out there, but
right.
we never got a chance to hop on that bandwagon. But if we go ahead and just strategize, it is doable. But at this moment, we don't have any floater wheels, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to focus our efforts on releasing our larger 9-inch floaters right now, because I do have a few orders I'm trying to finish, and I appreciate the patience that I've had with my clients here, and we just want to finish them and do a good job, and after that run's done, then we can work on a better version of them.
Okay.
Always looking for self-improvement in our products.
That's always good to hear that.
And here's Forgiato on their warranty. Okay, they have a 12-month warranty against cosmetic defects like chrome cracking or peeling, provided proper maintenance has been done. But they only offer a 3-year limited structural warranty. Right? We're offering a lifetime warranty.
Yeah.
But again, I think it all just depends on if it's the first owner, maybe no problem. But once the product has been sold, second hand, third hand, who knows what that person's doing? It's like, oh, I bought a set of wheels and they broke on me, right? I want a replacement.
Yeah.
If the person who sold the wheels go, here, man, I'm gonna give you a note that says, hey, I bought them off of this person. I know it's gonna cost me money, but is this in your records? Or like gonna be like, hey man, is this still available? This is the person I bought the wheel from, and then you guys will be like, okay, is this the wheel you have? And then he can be like, yeah, this is what I got. I need to know if it's fucking the chrome came off or something. Like, can that? I know you're not gonna what is it? Validate the warranty or whatever, but for the new owner of the wheel, if you can be like, hey man, oh that's cool, you bought his wheel. All right, well we charge you this amount if you want a new warranty. Is that possible? Something like that?
I'd say we would offer our services for the new owner at that point moving forward, but we probably have to start fresh at that point, right? Like we can at least go back and document and be like, okay, first owner purchased XYZ, and the secondhand owner, okay, he acquired the wheels at this time, so at least we just have like a living document to see how long something lasts, and at least we can go ahead and put that in our records.
Okay, cool. So if he has like, if you tell him, all right, hey man, okay, cool, you did, send me some proof, and he goes, here, the guy gave me the receipt, here's his
bill of sale,
or a picture of him, or like whatever, and you're like, okay, just to verify that he did get the wheel from the actual.
And on top of that, he gets
owner,
to keep up with that wheel set that he built, and how many more years that is going to keep going on down the road until he has.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the most important thing. Keeping track with where that set's moving, so that way we just are able to document. Okay, like it lasted this long, XYZ, and we'll have some customers that. I don't know if it's the first hand, owner, or the second hand, and say, oh, we've had our wheels for, 10, 15 years, XYZ, and, they still look great. Like, I want to know what that wheel's been through, to still, have been in good condition. Like, are they just doing a really good job maintaining them, or is it just a wheel they just kind of stored away? We want that feedback. We want to know where the wheel goes.
Yeah, because there are some people they'll buy like a good set of wheels, but they'll have like a daily set. Like for example, Dan Paz. He's got his set that he runs when he's going to go run around, and drive all over the place. But then when he actually goes to like the Super Show and stuff like that, he's got another set of wheels and tires that he puts on then. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's one of those things of you got to keep track of how much wear and tear is actually being put on his wheels.
It's so daily driven. It's something
that's
just parked in the garage.
Yeah,
hardly ever moved. But twice a year?
Yeah.
Is it something that is a
Weekend warrior or monthly warrior?
Exactly. You have your nice pair of shoes, and then you have
Yep.
your work boots. You don't take your nice shoes to work, so that way you make sure it lasts, as long as possible. You
got that nice pair of
I
shoes.
never remember.
You tend to take care of them a little bit longer.
Absolutely. That's just how it is. You know your prized possessions, and you know what you take care of more. And some things you're like, hey, I don't really care so much about this, and that's okay. Every product has its own purpose.
It's still crazy, man. That like how you said, Forgiato offers that kind, but at the same time, think about it.
But that's
those wheels get put through like they're 4x4s.
Yeah,
most of them.
But that's the thing. A lot of people don't look at the warranty.
And then half of those things get twisted because half of those fools are putting them on big G bodies and going down the track.
I've bought wheels and I've never looked at a warranty.
Yeah, and it might just be like as different applications. Like let's say something for like a heavier vehicle or like a semi. Like what's the warranty on those wheels? Because they're going through a lot of abuse and they have a lot of weight. Taking all these cargo bins back and forth. So I think it all depends on the vehicle or the the use, right? It's like, hey, these are graded for towing or XYZ. So I'm sure it all depends, because there might be some truth to that statement or not, but I'm sure it's all on a case by case basis.
Yeah. So
mm-hmm.
if somebody had a dually, and they're like, hey man, you need to cut me out some wheels that'll fit a dually.
Depends. Is it going on a dually that's going to be on the road doing
shot,
or is this going to be on a dually that's going to only go out on the weekend?
It would be one of those. All right,
I mean?
I'm going to strap the trailer to it every summer and take the dirt bikes to park somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure for the people that are selling these products, I'm sure they're disclosing the information. Like, hey, you know what? Our wheels aren't graded for that type of wear and tear. But you can get our products, but you have to sign a waiver XYZ saying that you can.
All right.
Right?
Okay. Cool. Then that's what I wanted to know because that's where I think about it. Like, is it that when you get to that point, like, all right, like, and if you got to sign a waiver for that, then
yeah, like for our wheels, like we don't recommend towing. Because the wheels aren't meant for that. They're meant for regular road use, highway XYZ. I'm sure they've been put to the test and they've been towing XYZ, and maybe it's been okay up to a certain point, but over time it's gonna have some wear and tear and have some hairline fractures on it, and maybe it's not broken now, but it's just a matter of time at that point.
I can only imagine like the guys that are sticking these 4Gs on fucking D bodies going down the track and not snapping that thing and like right at the fucking center of them because
maybe they are
how they are because it's like you're putting a big giant 26 or almost a 28 and you're gonna gun it and don't like that's some of the strength I'm talking about. Like if you're gonna test something,
the torque that gets transferred to that outside tire.
I can only imagine.
One or another, it's got to go through the wheel.
Yeah, it's got to go through the wheel to the tire to get transferred to the road.
I can only imagine like how their warranty is and being like some dude show up and goes, here man, like my fucking wheel took a shit. What happened? Oh, I took it down the track. Like, well,
nope.
It's not meant for track use. That's not regular road use. And I'm sure when you go to these places, they have their own their liability waivers saying, hey, we don't take responsibility for any damage XYZ just because now it's a different environment. So
that's going to be always a hard sell because a lot of people, like he said, don't look at the warranty.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. But you also have to realize, if I'm looking at getting a set of wheels for the dollar amount that I know I'm going to spend,
I better get a goddamn.
I'm going to probably look a little bit more into the warranty.
Well,
back in the day, I never looked at a warranty.
Well, look at it this way: you have a catalog wheel.
Yep.
That you can buy anywhere, or we go to Michael's.
Yep.
Colorado Custom, and you get a specific wheel, and hopefully you've done your homework and understand what he's selling versus what
a catalog is going to give you.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Big O tires versus Michael.
Yeah, but and then again, big old tires is good for most applications. You say, I'm looking for something durable. I'm looking for something not to break the bank. I need something for the vehicle. Boom, right?
But if you don't look at that warranty, though, if that warranty doesn't cover, trailer use, off-road use, this use, and you shoot yourself in the foot, you spend, $5,000 on a set of wheels with big old tires versus going through you, and what every clause is. Okay, cool. I can't do this. Cool. It's right there.
Here's the dumbest warranty. If somebody calls me and goes, "Hey man, my girlfriend curved the shit out of me," because I already covered that too.
I'm pretty sure he does.
We wheels are able to be repaired. So for the most part, worst case scenario, and what we've seen for most of our wheels and the 2-piece welded is either it's been in an accident or they lost that fight against a pothole, or they just want to make adjustments on the wheel. Like we can still cut the wheel out from the center, right? We cut the weld off, add some heat, that center falls out, and if there's no damage to the center, we can always go ahead and rehoop it, put in a new barrel, either with the same backspace or a new backspace XYZ.
Unless that barrel is destroyed, right?
No, the barrel's destroyed, but the center's still good.
So if the center is
right,
then you start, okay.
Right. If the center's still intact, good. But like if we see some hairline fractures, like there's spokes broken at that point, it's like, hey, you know what? The center has lived its life. It's broke now. We can't reuse it. We don't recommend it. You need a new one.
So if somebody bent the shit out of one wheel and they're like, hey man, they send it to you after it's been repaired, then that's got to void the warranty, right? If they went and got it repaired, they're like, oh well, I didn't look that bad, and then and then all of a sudden they just call you one day and like, hey man, like this happened and I got the wheel smashed in.
Can you repair it after somebody else?
Can you? Yeah. Can you repair it after?
He should be the first call.
Yeah.
It all depends. I'm like, hey, we love to have full transparency and be like, hey, was this fixed before us? What do they do, right? Because now if we're taking someone else's work, we don't know what they did, because it's always he said, she said, and we like to believe that our customers don't lie to us, but some people just want to do it for monetary gain. Be like, hey, you know what? These wheels are scrapped, but let me reach out to the manufacturer and see what I can make them do, right? And hopefully they wouldn't put us in that position. But we've always, if it's our product, we'll do everything we can to to service it.
Okay, so now I know that no matter what happens, when I get a set of wheels,
you just go back to the
I'm just gonna call them and be like, hey man, I curb checked the shit out of it and bent the crap out of it. I'll just send it back to you. I'm like, take a look at it and let me know how much what the damage is gonna be.
Like where are we at? What are we doing with this?
Yeah.
How can you make this better?
Yeah, and then there's some companies out there that discontinue designs or like accessories, components. Like old Colorado Custom used to make like foot pedals and antennas and XYZ.
Yep.
We don't make those just because we don't have like the tooling for those. I'm sure we can, but we're just so busy right now with what we're doing that we haven't allocated those resources. But as far as like hey, I have this old design, do you still make it? Send me a photo. I'm like, oh yeah, we still make it. Or if it's something I haven't seen, I'm just like, you know what? I haven't seen that before. Number one, is it ours? And number two, if it is, and it's just something really old, at that point, is it a one-off that Colorado Custom used to make, or is it a catalog design that they have offered? And if it's one of those, then
they did offer a lot of billet designs.
Yeah, because I remember that, like, because when I was watching one of the episodes of OBS, the history of the OBS, they were talking about Colorado Custom and doing, like how you said back then, they did the foot pedals, the antennas, and like small little stuff,
small little trinkets.
Yeah, and
their shift levers,
the sport trends and stuff like that. And it's crazy because like looking at the wheels and then going, oh shit, there are some wheels that people would think, oh yeah, like the flame one. I didn't think that one was still around. I didn't.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely there's a lot of designs that Colorado Custom has, and people think, oh, like, they surely don't offer that anymore, right? And I'd say, number one, ask us first, because I think I had a customer, I think it was our banjo design. It's like a 3-spoke, but like it's curved. It's like a 3-spoke. The 6 o'clock spokes, they're straight, but on the sides, like they're curved. And they say, hey, you don't offer this anymore. I'm like, yeah, we do. And I sent them a photo. We had it on the shelf. I'm like, hey, here's what you're looking for, right? So I'd say reach out to us first before you say, oh, like, oh, they don't make it, right? At least ask us first,
Okay, awesome. Yeah. That's
crazy to think what you can get.
Yeah.
All you have to do is ask.
So, all right, man. It's already 10. We will let you go. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you, dude, for being a great guest.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Mike.
And dude, we can't wait till we get to
Huckleberry.
he gets to go and see you and do a mini episode from out there.
Absolutely. Hey, come on in. We'll have it ready. Come and take a tour of the shop, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. And I was just excited to say, hey, someone wants to talk to us, and yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah,
we're happy. We're happy to talk about what we do.
Oh yeah, because you guys, from what it was from back then, and still doing it, like Wes was saying, the retro stuff and surviving,
keeping the retro stuff alive,
and surviving through all the.
Some of your competitors aren't doing that.
A lot of them,
and I'm sure you probably know that.
Yeah, there's like I mentioned, for some competitors, some designs, they just don't offer it anymore. I don't know if it's just like maybe they've had an issue with that design, or maybe they just don't want to do it. They say, hey, you know what, everything's set up to do X, Y, Z, so we don't want to tear down the setup, and it's only going to be one set of wheels. Why bother? Right. And for us, hey, thank you, Nico, for chiming in. And I guess you guys do this every Thursday. I can't guarantee I'll be here every Thursday.
No, that's no problem, man.
Every now and then, you're more than welcome to reach out.
We will definitely give you a shout out with the rest of the.
Oh, trust me, you'll get plenty of shout outs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I don't care about all that. Just keep me updated at least with the steering wheel on the durability test. I want to see how that holds
that's
up.
going to be awesome. Like that'll be a whole, well, I think we'll probably just like send them a link and be like, you don't have to chime in, but here's some video if you want to watch while we're doing this.
Nice. That'll be cool. That'll be awesome.
All right. Thank you again. If you are tuning in, and it show's over, man. Show's over. And tune in a little bit later on tonight to the frame details, I believe so.
Mm-mm.
No, not tonight. Okay,
No, it's already 10.
Okay. So
Bless
you.
Bless you. Peanut butter.
So,
She's
you.
over there sneezing behind here.
So thank you again, Mike, for coming on, and thank you, Colorado Custom. Thank you and your family for continuing on what it is.
The legacy.
A great legacy of wheels and steering wheels and a lot of motorcycle stuff.
Bless you.
And I know we didn't touch on the motorcycle stuff, but remember, guys, go to the website, coloradocustoms.com. If you have a motorcycle, they can probably make you some stuff. And they probably have some of their old stuff that's already
reach out to them.
But just reach out.
Absolutely, yeah. Reach out to us, and again, it was an opportunity to be here with you guys. I had a blast. It was fun, and we're here for anyone that wants something different, wants to stand out from the crowd. That's
there you
pretty
go.
much
I'll be hitting you up. Don't worry.
He'll be hitting you up. Wes will be hitting you up, and I want to thank you again for coming on, and thank you for taking time out of your night, and hopefully, they'll be in touch with you, and. Oh yeah, man! Thank you for coming on, and thank you for building some great wheels, dude. And continue on, and we'll do a further down the road update, and maybe by that time, one of us he'll be talking to us about somebody's wheels coming in,
or
steering wheels.
I might not say I might. Yeah, I know. I've got 2 steering wheels that I need built, and I'm not gonna talk about it. I will not talk about it on the podcast. but
there we go. We're saving that for the next episode. Okay?
Exactly.
On the DL, on the private label. Okay.
Like one steering wheel has a set of wheels that needs to go with it, and it's not mine.
No, that's mine.
It's
there you go. There you go.
Hers over here.
Yeah.
So,
whoever we got to take care of, we'll take care of you.
Awesome.
We'll take care of you. Whatever we have to do, we'll take care of you.
Awesome. Remember, guys, you can reach him at coloradocustoms.com.
Custom.
Custom.
.com.
If I got
There you can
$1
go
every
to
time they say
Instagram.
Colorado Customs, I'd have a few bucks.
And you can go to their Instagram page, hit him up there, and they can take
Not
care
Facebook.
Not Facebook. They can take care of all
Not
your beauty.
Facebook. Not Facebook.
Not Facebook.
Don't. Instagram, awesome. Emails, awesome.
Yes.
Text me, great. Facebook,
Yes.
honestly, I might not.
And all our other sponsors, bodydropclothing.com, A&E Landscaping.
Fix your shitty yard.
They always fix shitty yard. So you never know, dude. If Mike, if you got a shitty yard, I know you don't live in Arizona, but you never know.
They might go out there.
Our guy might go out there and
He
make your
might
yard
go.
nice. Yeah.
There you
Yep.
go. Nobody wants a shitty yard, right? Go get
No.
it fixed.
Yeah.
And Street Source.
And Street Source, yes. And our last sponsor coming soon, hopefully, Butter Automotive Wax, keeping your car clean and stuff.
Oh, Jesus
So,
Christ.
and Colorado Customs. So just remember, guys, on behalf
Customs.
of Layframe,
Talk about this
the
video.
Bearded Beauty, fucking Tackleberry,
And the frame.
Michael,
And the frame
and the
details.
frame details, which is not happening tonight, but we'll catch us on another night. Thank you, and dude, we'll see you on the next one, man.
Later, bro.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a good night, okay?
You too.
You too, man.
All right. See ya.
Later.
Bye.